Welcome to America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Good to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon as we continue opening weekend at the Belmont Park Spring Meet Racing this afternoon from Belmont, which you're getting a look at right now. Also the Steve Sexton Mile from Lone Star and coverage from Hot Springs, Arkansas at Oaklawn Park. Greg Wolf alongside Hall of Fame jockey Gary Stevens, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. So Steve Sexton Mile at Lone Star. We have the license fee at Belmont. A lot of great racing in between. Who are the horses you're looking forward to watching today?
The main one I'm looking forward to is in the feature race here, and that would be Miss Ramona G. She's a filly that's had success here on a yielding turf course. We've got a yielding turf course today from the heavy rains that we had on Friday afternoon here, and she's a filly that's dropping back in distance today, back to 6 furlongs, and she's 4 years old, one of the younger fillies in the race. So that's what I'm looking forward to today.
How about you?
I just want to welcome you guys to the East Coast. you Southern California.
Yeah,
we're bundled up.
To my home.
We're prepared.
Yeah.
You know, the good news is that it didn't rain, and they were talking about some rain coming through, and for once it didn't materialize. I was a little worried it might happen and we wouldn't be on the turf. Fortunately, we are. But I picked a race in a dirt race, the 5th race today, and Dancing with Daffodils, breaking from the rail. She's going to be a bit of a price. I think she'll be the 3rd or 4th choice, and that's Miss Ramona G. That's actually Gary's pick.
And
Gary can talk about her a little bit more.
Well, we'll get to that later on.
Okay, well, we'll talk about Dancing with Daffodils and the rail. You know, she's a horse that's actually subtly improved, and she's been running at the wrong distance. And distance is so important. She goes 6 furlongs today. She's been trying a mile and 9 furlongs. And here's Dancing with Daffodils. I thought she was a little bit interesting. Get back to her better form. She's obviously no killer. I think she's found the right group, and I like her cutting back to 6 furlongs. And this race, I think this is her maiden win, maybe going back to February. And if that's the case, she's an easy winner today. Competition's a little bit steeper, but not that much.
All right, so that comes up in race 5. Dancing with Daffodils, 9-2 morning line. It will be Kendrick Carmouche aboard for Edmund Pringle. We have that coming up a little bit later on in the show. That will kick off the pick 6. In case I did not say it, today's racing real quick brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Weather and track conditions brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, Pest gone. Fast and yielding. Races 4, 6, and 9, they remain on the turf this afternoon. That last race won't be on our air, but if you are playing the races at Belmont, does come off. America's Day at the Races race schedule presented by WinStar Farm, the farm that pays you back. That's what we have for you. Races 3 through 9 at Belmont, including the license fee feature. Oaklawn races 1 through 7, they have a fast track and Lone Star. Races 6 and 7 will have that grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile, the premier race of that meet. Fast and firm, but a bunch of scratches in that 6th race today at Lone Star. So plenty of action for you on this Sunday afternoon as we look forward to this Sunday coming up. Play along, bet from home or wherever you may be with the Naira Bets app and use the promo code ROSES. Gives you a $20 Derby bet. If your Derby bet should happen around 2nd or 3rd, we're going to give you your money back. You also get a $200 new member bonus when you use that promo code ROSES. Details at nairabets.com. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. We're going to take a break in the action. We will preview Lone Star's premier event of their meet, the grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile. Steve Asmussen looking to win it back-to-back years. We'll preview it next.
Run Happy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Run Happy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one of a kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at nairabets.com.
Warfront has sired 8 champions and 10 millionaires. Recent Grade 1 winners include Homesman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy Flag, plus 2019 Kentucky Derby hopeful War of Will. He's also sire of the highest priced yearling sold in North America in 2018, and international super sire on all surfaces and all fronts. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Oh. Really?
You there, Greg?
Nervous? What is this?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, what's up, Jonathan?
we didn't know. Jonathan, we were wondering what that was. Would you sing along, please? Would you sing? Come on, give us a bar.
Yeah, I can try. I can try. Brave.
There you go.
Over there. How long ago was that, Greg? 15 years?
We are back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Well, as we mentioned, we got action coming up from Lone Star Park this afternoon out in Grand Prairie, Texas. We look forward to the Grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile. Of course, last year it was B. Jersey who would win this race. He would go on to win the Mid Mile right here at Belmont Park. And we'll see if maybe Steve Asmussen has another very talented runner up his sleeve if he could do it again. He's got the morning line favorite and title ready in here. Richard Aramia will be on board today. He'll have the rail. He's 5-2 on the morning line. Been off since March.
You know, he's the horse to beat in this race. It feels like there's supposed to be plenty of pace to set it up for him. He had pace last time, but it's not like Vino Rosso beat him. Is not a good horse. Even though he sort of disappointed some people in the Carter, I thought he ran very well when he finished fourth in the Carter in what was a very slow-paced race.
Yeah, I thought he ran well. Take note here, though, of title ready. He starts leaning in, and I think that's under direction from the rider. He reaches back and hits him right-handed one time there, and that gets him started in. He wants to lay on the Vino Rosso, and he starts lugging in here. Jock's got his hands full with him, so he kind of cost himself. I don't know if he's going to beat Vino Rosso, but he could have been a little bit closer than what it was.
Well, King Abner is going to bring some speed to the party here this afternoon. 5-time winner.
Yeah, and King Abner on the outside here. Tyler Bays rode him the other day. He's back on him again, and I think he learned something from him the other day. He kind of hit the lead. He went after the horse inside of him a little sooner than I thought he probably should have. He makes the lead. That's Joel Rosario down on the inside, and he fights back, comes back, and that's a good horse that beat him. But I think that you can look for Tyler to wait just a little bit longer. When he hit the front, he kind of pulled up on him.
So King Abner, 3-1 morning line as we send you out live to Lone Star Park, and off the layoff himself, our own Jonathan Kinchin, the 2015 NHC Tour champion. We check in with Jonathan for more on our feature race today.
What's going on, fellas? I'm here at Lone Star Park. This place has a special place in my heart. First place I ever came to make my first wager, first racetrack I've ever been to, first Breeders' Cup, beautifully located in Grand Prairie, Texas, about the midway point between Dallas and Fort Worth, 15 minutes from where I grew up. I'm looking forward, honored to be here for the Grade 3 Sexton Mile Day. Obviously, that's going to be taking place right behind us here in about 3.5 hours. A lot of racing for you guys between then and now. Look, the cross-country pick 5 is today. I love these cross-country bets. I'll be back on here in a little bit to give you a play there. We're going to have 3 races from Belmont, 7, 8, and 9. Also 6 through 7 here at Lone Star, with the 7th race being the Sexton Mile. The Sexton Mile has been a very productive race. I'm sure you guys have already talked about it, and if not, we'll talk about it soon. But two Met Mile winners have come out of this race in the last 2 years, More Spirit and B. Jersey. We'll have to see if we can get another Met Mile winner out of this race today. Looking forward to it. We'll see you guys in a little while. All right, fellas.
Jonathan, thank you. That cross-country pick 5 he was talking about, it begins with race 7 at Belmont. That's at 4:45 Eastern. This race included in the sequence is well. It's our feature today at Belmont, the license fee, inner turf, 6 furlongs. And Gary was talking about Miss Ramona G at the top of the show, one of the contenders here in the spot. But Fire Key and Fear No Evil, a couple of contenders in this one as well. But we're going to take a look at when they went head-to-head.
And I think a key is that this race we're looking at here was running similar course conditions to what we'll have today, Gary.
Exactly, and they faced each other 2 times, Fire Key and Fear No Evil, and both times the outcome has been the same. Fire Key, she's a grinder. She just keeps grinding it out. That's her coming up on the outside here. Doesn't look like she's going to get there. She does get there. The harder they pump, the harder she runs. She gives everything every time she's led over there.
And the thing I like about her, much like your horse, Mrs. Ramona G, she's cutting back in distance. Those 2-turn races and 7.5 furlongs at Gulfstream, it's essentially a mile down there. It's a 2-turn race. She's much better suited, like Mrs. Ramona G, to these sprints.
Cross-country pick 5, as Jonathan alluded to, it includes the license fee and the Steve Sexton mile. It starts in the 7th, as I told you, at Belmont at 4:45 Eastern. You can place your bets on Naira Bets or visit naira.com/cross-country for all the details. We're going to take a break in the action. Still ahead, Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott. He's got a double dose of Derby fever. We'll preview the chances of Wood Memorial winner Tacitus and his stablemate Country House. That's coming up next on America's Day at the Races, less than a week away from Derby Day.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
He's bred to lead. His name is Commissioner.
Elliot, I can't wait to see the Commissioner foals run this year. He was always one of the best foals we had. He was always one of the best yearlings we had. He was a maiden special weight winner at 2 at Saratoga. He went on to be a multiple graded stakes winner, and he's the last classic place son of AP Indy.
Let me tell you, they looked the part at the sale. He's by AP Indy. He's got a bottom side to boot. He's got every chance. I'm really excited about this crop.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop arrives in 2019. Mastery standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Pleased to have you with us. Our show brought to you in part by the champion sprinter Run Happy. Perfect 7 for 7 in his career while sprinting. Did it all while racing. Medication free. Stands currently for $25,000 at Claiborne Farm out of legendary stall number 1. What a performer he was. There he is at Claiborne. Track record in the Breeders' Cup Sprint at Keeneland back in his day. We're going to get you back to live action here at Belmont Park. We have race 3 coming up, a $40,000 maiden claiming event at 6 furlongs. And a first-time starter has the inside post and is the 6-5 current favorite. That is Walk Off, a son of Street Sense for Todd Pletcher.
Not something that Todd Pletcher does a great job with, especially at Naira. His maiden claiming first-time stars in dirt sprints. While he's won with a couple of them this winter at Aqueduct, overall he's just 3 for 26 over the last 5 years. I think it makes sort of sense. I think it's actually a credit to Todd. when he's running maidens first time out in maiden claiming races, he says he doesn't think a lot of them, and they don't do well.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're in for a tag, and this is a homebred for the Rapoli stable, and he's lit it up in the morning a few times over the winter down in Florida. And, it looks like he's got some ability, but there's a reason he's in for 40 today.
Todd says basically my game is grade 1s.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you got to separate them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean they can't win. And obviously, he has found himself in a fairly moderate field here, so it's not going to take a Herculean effort to win. But if these horses are short prices and you like somebody else, which I do, you can't be afraid to take a shot against.
There's a look at the firster he'll be sending out here. Walk off. Coming up, Manny Franco will be aboard as we approach the 13-minute mark to post. And we're going to check in for the first time this afternoon with Maggie Wolfendale. Time for a Paddock report. Hi, Maggie.
Hey, Greg. Nice to hear you guys as we'll check in with the horse you guys were just speaking of, the first-time starter. There's a few in here, but we'll only take a look at number 1, Walk Off, and he makes that first start for Todd Pletcher. He is a bit on the smaller side, could look a bit stronger across that top line, kind of has that spine that kind of sticks up. It's not surrounded by the muscle mass as you'd like to see, but with that being said, he does appear to be a horse who is quick. He should be quick from the rail. That kind of work tabs would suggest that. And he just has the appearance of a quick horse who has been professional and does appear fit. Let's check in with some layoff horses. Making only his second start is number 4, Ari's Naughty Luca, board trainer Kieran McLaughlin. A horse that last year made his debut against his graded stakes winning Derby contender, I should say, in High Call for this same barn. He has matured a lot since he has been off, and I like what I see from him. He's a much more developed, much more athletic type, and also has his mind on the game a bit more. He's a little bit bordering the nervous side. He has some nervous energy, but since he's been saddled, he's actually calmed down a bit, which is a good sign for him. And despite those front bandages going on, which I don't love coming off of that layoff, he has done well from 2 to 3, and he comes back here extremely well prepared. Now, number 3 is Ninja Dust, another one that comes off that layoff. Going from the 2 to 3-year-old campaign back as a gelding, like to see that. And another horse who has done well. This horse is filled out. Super coat on him. Carlos Martin has done very well early this year, so I'm always intrigued by his horses, and also I like the turn back in distance from the 2-mile efforts as he shows up for the 40 claiming tag. A little bit of a bigger blinker on him as well, coming off the break with that cut back to the 6 furlongs here today. Greg.
Maggie, thank you very much. 3-1 on Ninja Dust, and that's from an 8-1 morning line. Andy, this son of Looking at Lucky is going to be making his 3-year-old debut today, recently gelded.
Yeah, I like this horse today. I don't think you see anybody else in here that's faced Tacitus, who's one of the favorites in the Derby. He faced some good fields in his races. I think they're a little better than it looks. In the race against Tacitus, he was actually reasonably close to a fairly rapid pace for a mile, so I don't think he has to drop back that far. And as Maggie pointed out, Carlos Martin, his trainer, has been on a sensational run for the past month or so.
We'll see if he can keep up here. Yeah, he was nearly 70-1 when he went against Tacitus, and then they said, oh, let's drop him in for a tag.
If Tacitus was in here, the other 6 would be 70-1.
That's true. Meanwhile, next door, Ari's Naughty Luca. This is going to be just start number 2 here for this Kieran McLaughlin trainee. He debuted against Maiden Special sprinting at Aqueduct.
And it was a tough maiden race he came out of. That race had two horses that came out of there, came back and won after that maiden race.
High Call, one of them, yeah.
Yeah, High Call, and he had some trouble in that race, and he's for a very sharp trainer. That was maiden special. He's dropping in for the 40 today.
I'll do a little New York bragging. It's pretty cool that Tacitus and Heichel both raced this winter at Aqueduct.
And
people say we don't get
Derby.
those that are good, and they're both legitimate contenders, right? Having run first in the Wood. My problem with Aries Naughty Luca, now I thought Aries Naughty Luca would be a clear-cut favorite or second choice along with the 1. I think will be by post time. This horse didn't do significantly more running in his races than Ninja Dust did, and I think Ninja Dust will be a better price.
Meanwhile, on the outside, Sure Money. It's going to be start number 7 this afternoon. There is Sure Money, son of Bank Heist for Eduardo Jones, and showed some speed, sprinting last time out. That was a race that was meant for the turf, but was taken off.
You know, the reality is, if you look at speed figures, this horse His run is fast, if not faster, than the aforementioned 2 horses, and because of low-profile connections, is a much bigger price. It's not impossible, at least, to get a piece.
Approaching the 9-minute mark to post, we'll have the post parade for this third at Belmont. Coming up in just a moment. Off screen here, we see Kieran McLaughlin giving Rajiv Mirage some riding instructions for Ari's Naughty Luca. Still 3-1 on the board. All right, let's go to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and their opener. $12,500 maiden claiming event. Mile and a 16th. Skip Song, 7-5 right now, making start number 10. Daughter of Painter. Struggled in the mud sprinting last start and going to stretch out as we take a look at Kiss Me Lily for trainer John Hall, 20-1.
Doesn't hurt to have the rail.
DeQueen, another big price, 11-1 right here. Terry Thompson rides.
Taking a lot of money to be 11-1 considering the PPs.
Honduras Pride, only hit the board once in 7 starts.
A field where they all have a chance.
Lil Shopper, there's Lil Shopper for Edward Ruiz.
Finished well behind the horse outside of her last time.
Frigid. Joe Pedalino, start number 10 this afternoon, somewhere out there.
Positive for her is she's coming off her best career effort with a second-place finish last time.
Joe Johnson will be aboard. Notorious Gal, the 6, trained by Greg Compton. This is start number 3. Ran at this level last start, didn't show a whole lot.
You know, it's all relative, Greg, but I agree she has to improve.
Stuart Elliott will be on Notorious Gal. Skip Song, we mentioned, was the favorite. That is the 7, who is 8-5 on the board.
Coming off a couple of efforts that, a few that make her a contender here for a trainer who's struggling this meet.
And last but not least, Morning Bell. That is not Morning Bell. That's the 8-horse Morning Bell. Steve Hobby.
Stretching out. We'll see if she can get the distance from a tough post.
All right, so wide open first. There's a pick 4 that begins in that first race at Oaklawn as well. But again, the 7, Skip Song, the 1 to beat on the board currently as we shift gears, head back to Belmont here for the 3rd race coming up, and they make their way out to the track for the post parade.
It'll be interesting to see. You know, it's funny how the 1 horse in this race, Walk Off, is this horse really live, Greg? You know, 8-5. Is it just being bet because nobody else looks that good and it's Todd Pletcher, Manny Franco? Is it just a horse that has to take money? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that obviously this was a horse that Todd Pletcher, Rapoli Stable probably thought when they bought the horse at auction, when they got him, they thought he could be something. Now they didn't plan to want to put him in a maiden claimer off the bat, right?
Well, they did. They bred this horse actually. I think Mike actually may have claimed.
Oh, it's a Rapoli homebred. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if this horse, the story was out, this horse could run a little bit, he could be 3-5 in this race. He's going to be 8-5, 2-1 just because.
Well, we saw Kendrick Carmouche on screen a moment ago. That's another first-time starter. The 5, Indigestion. Not taking much money at all, 12-1, but another fresh face.
Shouldn't the horse trained by Eric Guillot be called Indigestion?
I'm going to leave that alone. 3-2 on walk-off. Here's the favorite for Pletcher and the homebred for Rapoli Stable.
As discussed, the current favorite based on connections. We'll see.
Another first-timer, and here's the Eric Guillot runner, son of Bodemeister Bad Sueño.
Eric, one of the great characters of the game. We'll see if he's got a runner.
9-1 there on Bad Sueño. Ninja Dust. Eric Consell rides for Carlos Martin. Consell won the feature yesterday.
Pretty nice names in the PPs, including one of the Derby favorites, Tacitus, a new gelding.
4-horse, Ari's Naughty Luca, Rajiv Barrage for Kieran McLaughlin.
Lost to his more heralded stablemate, Heichel, last time, who's also a Derby contender.
Indigestion, the first-timer with Kendrick Carmouche, who we just talked about a moment ago. There he is, still at 12-1.
And his trainer, Jimmy Ferraro, does a good job with the stock that he has, and he's coming off a solid Aqueduct meet.
And Sure Money has actually hit the board at least in 3 of his 6 career starts, 7-1.
He seems to show up with an honest effort every time. It's good enough to at least get him a piece here, perhaps.
We'll get back to this race in just a moment. We're approaching the 5-minute mark to post. We return to Hot Springs, Arkansas for their opening race. Coming up as they get set to load up, there's Honduras Pride about to step in. The 4, Lil Shopper. 4th in a 9-horse field against this group, although Frigid, the 5, finished well in front of that horse last time out. And it skips Song, the 7th, the 1 to beat. Maiden claiming race to kick off action to Hot Springs on this Sunday afternoon. Vic Stauffer with the call. You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2.
And Morning Bell.
They're at the post. They're off. Morning Bell broke well, so did DeQueen and Lil Shopper. Frigid is between horses. Skip Song is tightly between horses. David Cohen going to take her back off those four. Angle to the inside. Perfect move for Skip Song at the clubhouse turn. Kiss Me Lily and Honduras Pride are next, and the trailer is Notorious Gal. DeQueen and Frigid to the back stretch. DeQueen's a neck in front. Frigid is second by 2.5 lengths to Morning Bell and Lil Shopper. Skip Song now settles in fifth and about 4 from the front. Then it's a lineup of 3 at the back of the pack. Notorious Gal 3 wide, Honduras Pride between horses, and Kiss Me Lily at the rail. Up the backstretch they run, and we have a new leader. Frigid has made her move to put her white blinkers in front. At the 4.5, Frigid leads by a head. DeQueen is second by now 3 lengths to Lil Shopper and Morning Bell. Skip's Song continues to gallop in 5th and about 4 from the front. Skip's Song is asked to go after the third and fourth horse now, and she's 5 off the lead. Then comes Kiss Me Lily, followed by Notorious Gal, and the trailer is Honduras Pride, and they match strides at the top of the stretch with Frigid and DeQueen. Frigid's ahead in front of DeQueen in second. Now Skip's Song has gone from 5th up into 3rd, and you better take a look at Skip's Song, who has run all the way up to challenge for the lead. David Cohen goes, yip, yip, to Skip Song, and she takes the lead. It is Skip Song now 2.5 lengths in front of Frigid in second. To the outside and Lil Shopper third, and DeQueen, and Skip Song is racing away, and she's got it in the opener. Skip Song leads by 6. Frigid is second, Lil Shopper third, Skip's Song in front. Skip Song won by 6. Frigid was second, Lil Shopper third, maybe Kiss Me Lily for 4th.
I would say that's fairly convincing for Skip Song. Easy win, start number 10. Gets the job done after struggling in the mud at this level. Sprinting, compromised at the start last time out. Today, all goes well as the favorite.
Nice to see her trainer has been struggling at the meet get the win. We saw one yesterday for Randy Morris and a nice win here. And David Cohen, I guess David Cohen's probably going to win that title with Santana going.
Yeah, he's going to be gone next
Churchill.
Friday and Saturday for Derby and Oaks. So David's had a heck of a meet, and he deserves it.
Back here at Belmont, taking a look at the 2 here. That's Bad Sueño, one of 3 first-time starters in this field, on the board at 10-1, double-digit odds here for this 3rd race. With more on the first-timer, let's go to Maggie.
Well, Greg, he's not maybe a first-timer as far as the preliminaries before a race are concerned. He was actually a late scratch back at Aqueduct on April 12th when he dropped the rider and ran loose. And of course, as a precautionary measure, he was scratched that day. And I had heard reports from the kid who got on him here that he was a bit of a bad actor. He did not always like to train. He was a bit bad in the paddock as well after he was saddled. So Bad Sueño probably named correctly, and horses that behave like that, well, they're never going to necessarily be a pick of mine. And just watching these horses warm up, I should say, I preferred number 3, Ninja Dust. Just a nice fluid warm up from this guy beneath Eric Kunsel.
Maggie, all right, so thank you for that. And, you know, this horse did miss a little bit of training as well, so we'll see. 11:01 right now on Bad Sueño as we look back again at a horse who is no longer our favorite. Walk-off, actually second choice on the board now at 9-5. There's another look at the Rapoli stable homebred.
Not a good sign that this horse is drifting up like this, you know. I'm not surprising, but not a good sign. But the betting isn't over yet. A lot of money comes in late.
And, again, look, experience always is a good thing. And the favorite right now at least has that one start under his belt. It did come against Maiden Special Weight Company.
I just wish he did some running in there, but he still ran a buyer figure that makes him the horse to beat. I just feel like, why is Aries Naughty Luca 7-5 and the 3 Ninja Dust 9-2?
Everybody's been listening to you, and
they don't want the 3.
They don't
Very
want
good point. You make a great point, Gary.
They're listening, Andy.
I'm just looking for value.
Let's give you prices real quick. Back at Oaklawn to kick off their card. Skip Song there, $4.40 for the win. Poindexter Thoroughbreds own this Daughter of Painter. And David Cohen, Andy mentioned battling with Ricardo Santana Jr. for that meet title, gets the job done. So loading up here for race 3 at Belmont, and there is Walk-Off stepping in. Another first-timer, Bad Sueño, will move in right alongside in post 2. But it looks like it will be Ari's Naughty Luca, the 4, will be the post-time favorite at 7-5 on the board. Larry Colmus with the call here in this third from Belmont, the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown. We're just 6 days away from that first Saturday in May.
Came fast, huh?
It has come
really
fast.
has come fast.
We got plenty more Derby talk coming up in the show, so stay tuned for that as well. This 6-horse, Sure Money, showed speed last start. Could be dangerous if he shows it again with Brian Hernandez. Send it upstairs to Larry Colmus for the call, race 3.
Last couple of horses to come up to line now include Indigestion and Sure Money. Couple of 3-2 shots on the board right now, and Walk-Off and Ari's Naughty Luca as Sure Money comes up to the outside stall here to complete the line. For today's third, they're all in line. They're off. Ari's Naughty Luca out the best, with Walk-Off away running in second. Sure Money and Indigestion are there on the outside. Then a break of another 3 lengths more back to Ninja Dust and Bad Sueño down toward the rail. It is Ari's Naughty Luca in front. Indigestion comes up into second position, and Sure Money is third on the outside as they make their way into the far turn. The opening quarter mile in 22.7 seconds. Break of another 4.5. Back to Walk-Off, who's lost ground to the top 3 and is just ahead of Ninja Dust and Bad Sueño on the inside. So around the far turn they go, and it is Ari's Naughty Luca, the leader by a length and a half to Indigestion and Sure Money. Sure Money takes second, Indigestion back to third. Walk-Off is still about 6 lengths behind. 45.74 the half. They're into the stretch, and under a hand ride, it's Ari's Naughty Luca coming to the 8th pole in control as Walk-Off has moved up into second on the outside and is starting to finish on, but it's 4 lengths behind. Ari's Naughty Luca by 3. Walk-Off cutting into the gap with every stride's going to make it close. Ari's Naughty Luca, Walk-Off still coming. Got there. Walk-Off ran down Ari's Naughty Luca, and then it was Bad Sueño and Indigestion.
That is a tough beat for Ari's Naughty Luca, the first-timer coming. And when Ari's Naughty Luca realized that it was too late.
Andy put him right in the winner's circle. That horse was listening.
This horse looked home free top of
Yes,
the
he
stretch.
did.
I mean, you could see the one Walk-Off was starting to make a little bit of a run after being sluggish, but man, this race looked over, but
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Rajiv was riding with the utmost confidence. I think I made the comment coming into the stretch, this horse is going to win by a block, and Rajiv kept sitting, and took a little peek under his arm, saw that he was widening. Well, in the meantime, Walk-Off stopped walking, started running, eating up the ground, and right here he starts niggling on that lead, and now he's really going to accelerate. And I don't know if it's more him running at the end or the other horse stopping, Ari stopping in the final strides, but it's too late now.
Yeah, I mean, Raj was riding him in that last 16th of a mile, and man, he's a strong rider coming there. He just came and got him.
Yeah, I think this was just a strong finish right here. 1, 4, 2, 5.
Ended up the favorite, too, the one. Took that late money.
Yeah.
Took late money.
Back to favoritism, and that is a walk-off right there for Manny Franco. He can just drop the mic on that performance. Well done. First timer gets the job done. Will that horse stay in the Todd Pletcher barn? We'll find that out after a timeout. Son of Street Sense, first time out into the winner's circle. We'll be back with prices right after this.
This is a colt by Run Happy out of Addison Run. We bred here at Mockra Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well. Has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With yearlings bringing up to $650,000 and his first crop of 2-year-olds hitting the track, the sky's the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Cleveland Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
We are back on America's Day at the Races. First-time starter walk-off comes and gets Ari's Nadi Luca in the first to win the debut.
Looked like a walk-off for the runner-up in this race in mid-stretch, but that was quite a run, and it shows Manny Franco's strength, Gary.
You know, one thing, this horse, they run him for $40,000, but he did make the string to go down to Florida. He trained in Florida all winter long. Todd keeps some horses here at Aqueduct, and
Sure.
he wasn't one of them, so they might have slid one under the radar.
Not quite like Victory Speech, who debuted here for
No.
$75,000 and went on to make about $1 million.
No.
Fourth race. This will remain on the turf. Turf course is yielding. Races again 4, 6, and 9 stay on the grass today at Belmont. 1.25 miles. Entry-level allowance hierarchy right now 3-2 on the board for Shug McGahee. Recently gelded for the Phipps stable.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. When he beat Argon, who's in this race as well, 3 races back for him, for both of them, Argon had a brutal trip and should have won the race, for what it's worth.
I was at 1.25 miles on this inner turf, and Hierarchy has the benefit of that victory in these similar conditions here. We're going to talk a little Derby right now. Take a look at the Kentucky Derby points leaderboard. Tacitus for Belmont, topping that list. Omaha Beach in the number 2 spot. Roadster for Baffert at number 5. And oh boy, did we have some drama this morning in the workouts as you look at the second page of your top 20 there. Getting set in some of the final preparations for next Saturday's Derbies. Tacitus and Country House for Belmont working. Pasco winner Win got involved as well, and we had a little chaos.
Yeah, a little chaos. And they have a special training type for the Derby horses only, an individual time. And it's so what you're going to see here doesn't happen. You're going to see Tacitus and Country House is on the inside, Tacitus, the gray horse, in the middle, and then on the outside, Win. Well, this turns into what they used to have a Derby trial a week out from the Kentucky Derby. It was the last qualifier to get into the Kentucky Derby. Guess what? They do it here this morning with 6 days out. I don't think this was the plan by either camp for this to happen.
So what do you make of it? Does Win take off because he sees the other horses?
I don't know. I'm confused. I'm dazed. This was turned into a race. They worked extremely fast. They wind up galloping out a mile in 1:39, but you can see Win accelerate here. Now, Tacitus, along with Country House, they're going to go with him. They gallop out all the way around the turn. You're going to see the 2 mod horses stay. The riders stay down. They go back up with Win. Now Win's rider starts encouraging him to go on and gallop out the mile. And they're still traveling right now. They're getting with it. We're 6 days out from the Derby.
And I'm thinking Billy Mott said, couldn't Win have just stayed at Fairhill and left me alone?
Competitive juice is kicking in there a little bit. Wow, head, those 3 getting acquainted before they do it for real in 6 days.
Has that ever happened to you, Gary, especially in a big spot where a horse, something weird like that in a workout?
Not for a long time. I mean, we kind of have an honor code races in that if you're going out to work the big horse, you pick a spot where there's no traffic so that doesn't happen. It's very easy to do it here at Belmont Park. It's not that much traffic. We've got the 2 tracks. We've got a training track that a lot of trainers use. But they've got this individual time that is only for Oaks and for Derby horses for 15 minutes every morning. So if a loose horse won't get in their way or anything like that, and the incident that you just saw won't happen. But riders are pretty adept at knowing and looking ahead and saying, you know what, we're going to run into company with this horse. Don't need company today, so just ease me back. I'll break off a little later than I normally would. Maybe I'll go from the 3.5 instead of the 4 and gallop out an extra half a furlong to just improvise. But, you know, I can't speak for maybe Shug and or maybe Billy and the whole Michael Trombetta. Maybe they're happy with the way these horses work because they got a gut wrencher in them this morning.
A little more spirited drill, perhaps, than what they were expecting this morning. Of course, for Tacitus, he earned his way in right here, winning, well, at Aqueduct, I should say, New York anyway, in the Wood Memorial with that victory. And he's one of the more battle-tested runners with what he had to endure in that victory.
Yes. We got the head on here, and you're going to see Tacitus coming out of the 2-hole and down on the inside. Right here, I mean, 2 horses get effects. It's Tax and
Tax and Sherry in front of him.
And Tacitus. There's all kinds of chaos. This was such a nasty race. It was run like the Kentucky Derby in the first 16th of a mile, and he was able to overcome everything with the pinch that came from the outside, and he got back in stride, and he just keeps grinding it out here.
I mean, you have to like the way he just seemed almost completely unfazed by it. Just his 4th career start, and it didn't even matter to him.
I went down to the paddock prior to the race, and I was admiring him. I'd never seen him in person. He looked like a 5-year-old against 2-year-olds standing there. There was a big crowd in the paddock that day. Nothing was bothering him. And he's by Tappet. Some of Tappet's offspring, they can be a little hot-blooded. And he just acted, I mean, like the pro that he showed that he was that day.
And, of course, his dam was a champion, closed hatches, and he seems to show it.
Meanwhile, long-range Toddy for Steve Asmussen, the winner of the Rebel. That was a surprise victory when he beat Improbable. And this was his recent work.
Yeah, and he worked in 102, much slower. This is a typical Asmussen work 1 week out from a big race, any race for that matter. He's not a guy that goes out there and works them fast. He likes them to be in hand. They gallop hard every day that they're not working like this, but he likes them going in 102, a leisurely kind of work a week out, keeps them fresh, and then a huge gallop out by long-range Toddy.
And he's interesting, Andy, because he had that upset win over Improbable, and then he got a sloppy track, which maybe he just doesn't like that kind of track in the Arkansas Derby. So is that race a throwout?
It is. I mean, he got a very good trip here in this race, and John Court gave him
a Hall of Fame ride.
I mean, just as good a ride as you could give a horse, and everything worked out to beat Improbable. He's not as good as Improbable, but he's nowhere near as bad as he was in the Arkansas Derby. So he may still not be good enough to crack the top 4 or 5 of the Derby, but you can throw his last out.
Yeah, definitely throw his last out, but this race here was impressive. I mean, he came with a rush, and if he gets any sort of trip like he got that day, then I could give him a chance. And I'd love to see John Court. I love seeing John Court in the Kentucky Derby, in with a chance, riding for a trainer that can win the Kentucky Derby.
Well, it's always nice to see, whether it's trainers or riders that you know do a good job, that just rarely get a chance on the big stage to get that chance and show what they can do.
John Court, tremendous rider, has been doing this for a long, long time. That would be quite a story. Long-range Toddy, 5 furlongs, 102-3. Went out 6 furlongs in 116-1. We got more live action on the way. Coming up on America's Day at the Races, Hierarchy. Looking to do it to Argonne once again, a rematch from their maiden meeting back in October.
Best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Carpe Diem was a serious racehorse with the physical to match. A debut maiden special weight winner at Saratoga, he beat the greatest stakes winner Ready for Rye, and he was named a TDN Rising Star that day.
Sean, he was brilliant at 2. I loved his race in the Breeders' Futurity. I also loved his race in the Bluegrass. When I saw him in the paddock, he looked absolutely stunning. This horse has it all. Looks, brilliance, class. I can't wait to 2-year-olds to hit the racetrack.
Whether you have Derby dreams or midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there. That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Run Happies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, the go-to site covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. Want to encourage everyone as well to use the hashtag ABR at the races. Share your posts on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook whenever you happen to be maybe at your favorite racetrack, showing off your fashion, your big scores, photos from around the track, or your watch parties for the Derby as well coming up. We want to hear about it. Hashtag ABR at the races, where you can share all of it. All right, our fourth race at Belmont. We're 14 minutes away from a start coming up in Financial System. Chad Brown, 7-5. He's got Jose Ortiz aboard as this son of Twirling Candy makes his 5-year-old debut. 3 for 4 lifetime. Never been worse than second.
Never been worse than second. And this is the first time that he's faced open company, really. I mean, he broke his maiden for $40,000, came back and won a claiming 40, non-2, then $50,000 starter races. That's a step up in class.
It is, and a step up in distance as well, 1.25 miles. Nobody better than Chad Brown off a layoff with turf routers, but 10 furlongs, a bit of a question.
Let's get more on this field for a paddock report. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg, and we'll check in with a couple of layoff runners. We haven't seen some of these turf routers in a couple months, and one of them happens to be one of your likely post-time favorites in number 4 Hierarchy, a horse who returns to the Belmont turf course as a new gelding for Hall of Famer Shug McGahee, and he's consistently run well at these kind of distances, and I prefer the 1.25 miles. I mean, that's where he broke his maiden, so he returns to the scene of the crime here, and he actually looks fantastic. A horse who comes in here really fit, great coat on him. It's not as if gelding's changed him that much. He is a little bit on the older side. I mean, now he's a 4-year-old, so he's not going to change that much, but I like what I'm seeing from Hierarchy. He's just built to handle these kind of distances, in my opinion. Moving on to number 2, Argon. He comes off of a similar type of layoff dating back to late January, where he finally officially broke his maiden. He's one who was taken down out of a maiden victory back here at Belmont as well, and he'll go back to the 1.25 miles, which he is effective at, and he does look better. The last time I'd seen him, which was coming back off of that July to October layoff, and he just didn't look strong enough across that top line. He kind of weakened up a bit on us, and he looks much better in that department here today, but still wishing he looked a little bit more defined just in the face of Hierarchy. If you compare these two just between them, Hierarchy is the fitter looking of the duo, so we'll see what happens between these two, as it's a great matchup kind of forming between them. Now, number 1 is Financial System, a horse that had modest beginnings, but he is 3 for 4 lifetime with the second place effort as well. He'll have to improve to beat the aforementioned duo, but Argon is a horse that I feel as though physically looks suited to a 1.25 miles, comes back here, is very sharp, which isn't necessarily typical of Chad Brown horses. So with this added distance, I'm wondering, guys, if he is forwardly placed here, because he's giving me every indication that he may be from the rail.
8-5, Financial System. Chad Brown, what do you think, Andy?
Well, in all likelihood, Kendrick Carmouche and All Go are going to lead in this race, and probably the 5, Dance for Oro, is going to show some speed, but I imagine Financial System will be in that comfortable pocket.
Meanwhile, Argon Got debuted out of a maiden score July of 2018. Came back and just did it again recently at Gulfstream to kick off his 2019 campaign.
But I think we want to talk about a race of his 3-back when he and Hierarchy hooked up, because that was a very interesting race.
We'll take a look at that in a moment. We're going to shift gears, head back to Hot Springs, Arkansas, as we get set for the second at Oaklawn. Coming up, we check in for the first time today with Nancy Holthus.
Thanks so much. Well, very interesting group here. 6 of the 8 were claimed within their last 2 starts. Wouldn't be surprised to hear track announcer Vic Stauffer announce some more claims after this one. A big standout here with the number 2 Flight Risk, the power duo of Steve Asmussen and Ricardo Santana. This one looks for back-to-back wins after debuting for the barn last out against Non-2 for 30, and it was at today's distance off a $16,000 claim. He actually settled off the pack and was forced to check around the 7/8, but was able to close on the field and got up to score by a nose. He does get Santana in the irons today, and he is a superstar lookout in the looks division. So right now getting bet down heavily, your number 2 at 6-5. Also the number 5 Golden Bullet faced tougher last go. We'll see how it goes down the mile and a 16th distance. Here's track announcer Vic Stauffer with the call.
They're at the post. They're off. Colombard and Dreamer's Point break well. Golden Bullet is close up. Flight Risk and Charlie's Schiller, who's a bit headstrong. Powerful Thirst angles to the inside. Good move, Ramon Vasquez. Then the early trailer is Lucky Inferno. Clubhouse turn with Colombard narrowly in front. Colombard leads 3/4 of a length to a pumped-up Charlie Schiller, who runs up on the outside. He's not going to settle down until he gets right alongside Colombard. Flight Risk races in third, a half length from the front, then to the outside, and Golden Bullet. Dreamer's Point stays at the rail with 3 lengths to make up. Powerful Thirst is a half length behind him, and Lucky Inferno is the trailer. 6 lengths first to last. Midway on the backstretch now, and Charlie's Schiller has the lead just by a head. Colombard comes right back at him, and Flight Risk is in a tight spot between horses. Trying to stay up in there is Flight Risk, now a length from the front. Golden Bullet and Dreamer's Point have 3 lengths to make up. Powerful Thirst is 4 from the front, and Lucky Inferno is still the trailer as they leave the backstretch with Colombard back in front. Colombard a neck in front of Charlie's Schiller in second. Now Flight Risk is going to make his move, and here he comes to split horses. We're going to have a new leader at the quarter pole. Flight Risk has put his head in front. Colombard responds, though, and goes right with him, and now these two are matching strides. Powerful Thirst has moved up into third, and they run to the top of the stretch with Flight Risk and Colombard. They are shoulder to shoulder for the final furlong. 3 back now to Golden Bullet, and then Powerful Thirst, and now Flight Risk begins to inch clear. Flight Risk now a length in front of Colombard, who battles on bravely. Then Golden Bullet and Dreamer's Point. It is Flight Risk in front. Flight Risk won by 2.5. Colombard second. Dreamer's Point third. Powerful Thirst finished fourth.
David Cohen takes the first, and look who answers in the second. Ricardo Santana Jr. for the powerful Steve Asmussen barn. Flight Risk, 3rd win of his career.
Perfect ride, set in there patient, and gets that win back.
Back to Belmont Park. Here's our post-parade for the 4th, and here's the Chad Brown runner for Klarovich Stables Financial System.
Yeah, we've talked about him. He's won 3 out of 4 races, coming off the layoff and testing 10 furlongs for the first time today.
Argonne, he got a win at a mile and a 16th at Gulfstream to kick off his 4-year-old campaign for the James Bond barn. There, we'll see him in a moment here. He's at 5-1 on the board.
And as Maggie said, we'll get right to the 3. That's going to be probably the horse that's in front. I'll go with Kendrick Carmouche aboard.
Yeah, for Mike Maker, no doubt his game plan. He is quick 5-year-old who's a 4-time winner in his career. All 4 of those victories coming on the turf for All Go. And there's Argonne, the 2.
Jose Lascano aboard for Shug McGahee, and this horse 5th place finish last time out.
Junior Alvarado, that was Argonne.
Sorry.
Yeah, we backtracked to Argonne. That's okay.
We did backtrack.
Here's Jose Lascano.
So there you go.
2-1 on Hierarchy.
And then we'll skip forward to that number 5 horse, Dance for Oral, coming off a win. Tyler Connor coming in to ride Dance for Oral.
Yeah, comes in from Parks off a win. That was on dirt last time out. And then Dublin Green, 14-1. Robbie Davis on a horse he trains back in action.
Come on, Robbie. One for the old team here, buddy.
14-1. He is a maiden victory that came on dirt at Aqueduct. His only 2 turf tries. This one has not fared all too well. Let's take a look at Hierarchy. Going against Argonne again in that maiden win for Hierarchy back on October 25th of last year.
Yeah, what you're going to see is a case of real race riding. This is the reason Johnny Velasquez is in the Hall of Fame. That's him on the outside with the cherry helmet cover on. Down inside is Argonne. And Johnny's riding just to keep that horse down inside of him, Argonne, and puts him in not in a dangerous spot, but he's got a roadblock in front of him. Here they are, straighten it out in the stretch. Johnny just shuts that hole on him, got nowhere to go. And watch as they finish off. Johnny gets up, makes a heck of a ride here, but watch what Argonne does. He's got no chance back there. He comes back, he runs third, and he only gets beat a length and a half. I think he may have been best in the race, and Johnny might have been on about third the best because he changed the whole outcome of the race at the end of the
even the
stretch.
3 who was down on the inside, who he also kept in the same boat, he came back and wanted Aqueduct's next start, and the horse who was second there, he did all the dirty work in there.
Those are the races that you come back and you just smile and say, you got me. Good job, great race ride, and you admire it as a rider.
Well, as a rider, I mean, fairly, how many times in the course of a year do you think you actually won races where you didn't even ride the best horse? Not because another horse got in trouble, but because you were able to help affect the outcome.
Well, you know, the fuller the fields are, the more you can have an impact. You don't have to be on the best horse. You have a say-so in what's going to happen by moving early to put somebody in a position. That's our job, and that's their job, the top riders. And you have to think defensively sometimes when a top rider is outside of you, and you can anticipate what they're going to attempt to do to you. And if they don't, then they'll take advantage of it and put you in a spot that may compensate your chances for getting the victory.
Well, that was Dylan Davis aboard back on October 25th in that race that we showed you today. It will be Junior Alvarado on board this one right here, Argonne, who is coming off that victory at Gulfstream. And with more on Argonne, we check in for the first time today with Paul LaDuca. Paul, how you doing?
Good, guys, down here in the winner's circle here in beautiful Belmont. Actually, the wind has stayed away. It's actually a beautiful day. And I'm in agreement with the guys on the set with Argonne. I thought he was best that day. And, you know, Hierarchy had a mile race underneath him. I think, look, he got a little intimidated in between horses and then went on with it. I'm surprised, obviously, by the even money favorite, but it is Chad Brown. He's been winning everything so far that has been stayed on the turf. But I'm wondering what you guys think about the 2, where he's going to sit in this position, because maybe he is the horse that will get first run on the other 2 favorites in here.
To that point, where do you guys think?
I think he's going to be up close, and I think they learned something. Keep him in the clear. He doesn't need to be covered up. We saw that in that replay with Hierarchy, that you know, he's got the ability to lay closer, and he was crying out for room that day. He probably should have won that race. It took him a couple more races to get the maiden broke, but I think he's going to get a forward trip from Junior and should be in a nice place.
I think a lot depends on how aggressive Jose Ortiz is with financial system. If Jose's a little aggressive, maybe he keeps that pocket trip. If he's not, then Junior's going to look to get that pocket with Argonne, right?
I think that financial system's going to be a little aggressive without the jockey being aggressive. Coming off that layoff and going the 1.25 mile distance today, he's going to break sharp more than likely coming off that layoff. So I think it'll be forwardly placed, and I think that Argonne can get a stocking trip behind financial system and all go.
And when Financial System won this race we're looking at, this is his second career start back in June of last year, there was a wicked pace. No, 3, 4 seconds, 5 seconds faster you're going to see in this race. That's why he was as far back as he was, and that's why we all feel, and I agree with Gary, that he'll be much closer in a much slower paced race today.
Yeah, he was back of the pack on that occasion. Since then, he's been showing a little more tactical ability.
You know, we saw his stablemate yesterday win the 8th race. His name escaping me because I'm getting old. The horse that was so impressive breaking his maiden yesterday in the 8th race. Value Proposition.
Yes.
He got a 90 buyer for that impressive
really?
start. Look to see him in stakes. He's a horse, if things go right, could be in our Belmont Derby on Stars and Stripes.
One of the Tattersalls purchases for Klarovich and Chad Brown as we look at Dance for Oro, Todd Beatty. So this horse wins at Parks last time out. They actually tried to get this horse on the turf the very first start of his career. It came off, so this will be the turf debut.
Yeah, and he's going to be he'll be forwardly placed too. Tyler Connor is jockey. I got to spend a couple of years out in California riding with him. He's moved back to the East Coast now, Philly Park and some of these tracks parks, and he's a very good rider. Nice young man, and I spoke to him today earlier. I didn't even realize he was in town. It was about 10 o'clock this morning. He was just walking into the racetrack. But I think he'll be forwardly placed as well. He's got 23 speed. He laid close, and this horse might be a little aggressive as well.
I agree. He should be stalking All Go. These
Yeah.
two should be forward in here. And, of course, people may be familiar with his trainer, Todd Beattie, who's had a lot of success, and he trained the mighty Fabulous Strike, one of the best sprinters in the last 10 or so years.
There's the prices from Oaklawn. You see there, right-hand side of your screen. Flight risk, $5.40 for that victory. 2-4-1 finish. We'll get you back out to Hot Springs, Arkansas in just a little bit. Bringing you plenty of action there all afternoon long. But, yeah, no doubt the speed in this race is going to be the 3 All Go. That's who they're going to be chasing early on. Aggressive rider with Kendrick Carmouche aboard the 3. And we'll see if he can take him gate to wire.
If somebody's in front of Kendrick Carmouche, they're usually going too fast.
Or Kendrick got left.
Or Kendrick got left.
Yeah, this horse is a $10,000 claimer stepping up. Mike Maker, tremendous with these turf horses, finding claimers and getting them to move forward into big races. Nobody does a better job than he does in that situation.
Actually tried him in a, there he is, by the way, All Go moving, and tried him in a grade 3 at 1.5 miles on the turf for the William L. McKnight.
Had a little rabbity look in that race, didn't he? I don't know
Yeah.
if Mike had somebody. I think Soglio finished second as a Mike Maker actually in there.
So here we go. Even money now on Financial System from the Inside Post for Chad Brown and Klarovich Stables. Let's send it upstairs. Larry Colmus, the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, with the call. Race 4, Belmont.
Line. They're off. All Go out for the lead with Dance for Oro moving up alongside to put some pressure on, and Hierarchy is right behind them. Then Dublin Green to the outside. Argon and the favorite Financial System will linger at the back early, and 6 lengths off the lead as All Go has some early pressure here from Dance for Oro moving into that first turn. These two right together. Dublin Green is outside of them, and then Argon and Hierarchy just in behind them. Another 4 lengths back to Financial System. 25.32 was the opening quarter mile. So they move on that first turn toward the backstretch here with All Go and Kendrick Carmouche in front by a half a length. Dance for Oro on the outside is second. Now the margin's up to a length. Dublin Green is third on the outside. Argon is fourth and down toward the rail. Then Hierarchy. Hierarchy's about 7 lengths behind right now and 2 ahead of Financial System. 50.18 was the half mile over the yielding going. A reasonable pace here set by All Go, who's on top by almost 2 lengths now on the backstretch. And then it's Dance for Oro, followed by Dublin Green on the outside of Argon. Hierarchy is next in Financial System. Closer now, just 5 lengths off the lead, and pinned to the rail as they make their way for the far turn. All Go by 2. And then it's Dance for Oro on the outside. Argon down toward the rail. Dublin Green. Financial System slipping through on the inside. Hierarchy waiting. Around the far turn, 3/4, 116.26 for All Go, who's got it by 2.5 lengths. And now Jose Ortiz brings Financial System up alongside of Argon, and these two are setting sail for this pacemaker now, and Hierarchy is too. They've left the others behind. Argon has taken the lead as they come to the top of the stretch. Financial System put to a drive in second. All Go is third toward the inside. Hierarchy behind them, a furlong to run. Argon and Financial System. Argon still to catch. Financial System is coming. Hierarchy 2. Argon holding them off so far. Hierarchy takes second. Financial System is back to third. Argon and Hierarchy. Argon did it. Over Hierarchy. Then Financial System and All Go was fourth.
Argon turns the tables on Hierarchy and the rest of this field for that matter. Gets the job done, picks up the second win of his career.
Junior Alvarado giving him a great ride. Very patient, got the right gap. And what do we got going on here,
Well,
Andy?
Hierarchy's in the 2 path outside of the 1 Financial System, and the 5 horse is backing right up into his face at a pivotal moment, Gary, and I think it really cost Hierarchy in here.
Well, what I saw there is he was able to get through on the 5 horse, and financial system, he just had a little more get up and go at that point in time, and he flattens out coming into the stretch. I don't know if he so much flattens out, but he bobbles a couple times on this yielding turf course. You see him right here. He's not comfortable with it, and then he gets lined out again, and then he'll take some more funny steps up here and hitting soft spots, and that's when you know one doesn't really handle yielding going. So give him another chance at maybe not 1.25 miles, maybe shorten him back up, and then the old buddy coming back today and turns the tables on Hierarchy.
Well, maybe it was sort of get even for Argonne, who'd been a little unlucky to lose to Hierarchy a few races back. And I'm not saying he wasn't best, but he was maybe a little fortunate.
Well, that's why it's so helpful to go back and watch films sometimes, because you see those things, and you saw that he was maybe best that day when he wound up running third.
Generous price.
Argonne turns the tables on Hierarchy from that maiden showdown. James Bond Barn, William Clifton, longtime partners, those two, and Junior Alvarado aboard for the win. We're going to take a break. Arkansas Derby runner-up, Improbable for Bob Baffert. Back to work this morning at Churchill Downs. We'll have the latest when we return.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast, a multiple Grade 1 winner and runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July Seal with a $520,000 yearling. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Run Happies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, and Argonne with the victory in this entry-level allowance at Belmont over the inner turf at 1.25 miles, wins for the James Bond Barn.
And his son Kevin does a very good job deputizing for Jimmy Bond while he's in Florida. And this was a nice horse. He really kept digging in, right? Kept finding more, as they say.
Yeah, he did, and he was grinding it out. And I like this horse in that he's pretty tactical. I mean, he can get somewhere quick, and he can sustain his run as he proved today.
$9.20 for the victory, again owned by William Clifton Jr. Junior Alvarado in the irons for the win. Pick 6 will begin in race 5 at Belmont, and it starts with a 16,000 claiming race for horses who have not won 2 lifetime. 6 furlong sprint, Dancing with Daffodils, and Andy talked about this horse top of the show being his horse to watch, and as a result, all of our value is gone. Thank you.
My apologies.
The power,
in advance.
your E.F. Hutton of horse racing. Look at that.
My apologies in advance. The horse is actually taking a lot of money. It's funny, 4th choice in the multis, but the doubles took a lot of money. Well, let's hope. Here's hoping.
Get your hockey puck.
I'll take 7-2.
All right, we'll
Don't
get
try to
more
take my
to that
hockey
race
pucks.
coming up in just a little bit. Of course, getting closer and closer to that Kentucky Derby. Bob Baffert's runners in action today, or one of them anyway, Improbable, back on the track this morning. He's on the outside. He went 5 furlongs in 1 minute and 3/5.
And he's enjoying his work right now. Just against the bridle, flicking those ears back and forth. Very comfortable. He's not ranked, but he's aggressive right now. It looks like he came out of the Arkansas Derby in perfect shape.
Would you say he is the 3rd likeliest of the 3 Bob Baffert horses?
Well, you know what? No, I wouldn't. He put blinkers on him in the Arkansas Derby, and he come unwound in the post parade and in the starting gate. The blinkers are back off. You see him; he looks very content right here, and he's carrying good weight. He's striding out nice here. Jock's just letting him do what he wants, and kind of drops his head and lets him gallop out. He had one of the strongest gallop outs. He worked in a minute, but He winds up going out in 113, and he's not pushing him. He's just letting him do what he wants, keeping him happy. He doesn't need much right now.
Oh, as Gary mentioned, yeah, he put blinkers on for the first time in that Arkansas Derby, acted up in the gate, could have been scratched. Luckily, he was not, so Bob Baffert feeling fortunate to be in this position.
He's lucky he's in the Derby. It was disaster. He could have sat down that gate. He got mad in there. He got upset. He was in there for 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and he still ran he only got beat a length by the Derby favorite. So that shows you the caliber of horse he is. So he's come back. He actually looks better. He looks like he's getting fitter, and so, and he loves this track. They're all coming off strong performances, 2 of them got beat. Roadster, he's undefeated this year. So he's the only one that Omaha Beach hasn't beaten. So we have that going for us. Omaha Beach should be the Derby favorite. I think he's the horse to beat. And, I haven't been able to get by him with those 2, so I'm counting on Roadster.
Never hurts to have 3 legitimate Derby contenders, and just unreal the success that he has had in horse racing's most important race here in the States. 5-time winner, 3 legitimate chances to win a 6th.
Yeah, and I think he's playing possum a little bit with Game Winner. I think Game Winner is going to come back to his best and give Omaha Beach a run for his money for sure. And Bob giving credit to Omaha Beach, but believe me, Bob Baffert's still confident in all 3 of his horses.
And there's no reason he shouldn't be. They're all very, very good horses. A question, though, for you about Improbable. City Zip, his sire. How concerned are you that that'll hurt him trying to get the 1.25 miles?
Well, listen, at this time of the year with 3-year-olds, there's not very many of them. I don't care what their pedigree is, that wants to get a 1.25 miles in May, in the first Saturday in May. But in saying that, if they're ever going to get a 1.25 miles, they're going to get it at Churchill Downs. If it's a fast track, they soup that track up. When you walk on it, you walk on top of it, and it carries their speed. They'll get a little further than their natural breeding will let them get because of how they've got the track set up on that day.
Improbable, Game Winner, and Roadster. What a threesome for Bob Baffert as he gets set to try and win his 6th Kentucky Derby. We're going to send it back out to Grand Prairie and Lone Star with more Derby discussion with Jonathan Kinchin.
I agree with Gary. I don't think you want to let Bob Baffert try to trick you here a little bit. He knows he's got a shot to beat these horses. Remember, the 2 horses, Game Winner and Improbable, who were beaten by Omaha Beach, both of them kind of have an excuse. You heard Bob talk a little bit about Improbable in the gate, also a sloppy racetrack, obviously a reason that Improbable can improve off of that effort. And then Game Winner is his first race back as a 3-year-old, and when they ran in the Rebel, he's got an opportunity to turn the table as well. But obviously Omaha Beach is a deserving favorite in this race. I'm a little bit concerned with Omaha Beach and the fact that both of his best performances come on a sloppy track. Obviously, the first Saturday in May always has a right to be a little bit wet, so that's possible for Omaha Beach, and that would obviously move him up. The other great storyline with Omaha Beach is that, trained by a Hall of Fame trainer in Richard Mandela, who actually has never won this race before. So obviously a very interesting story to follow here. I like Omaha Beach. I like Game Winner, and I actually like Improbable. So these are a lot of horses that I'm probably going to be using. Some long shots that I think you might want to consider underneath. I think By My Standards and Spinoff, both coming out of the Louisiana Derby, I think both of those horses are going to offer some value. And then Win, who was closing into a speed bias at Keeneland during the Bluegrass. Fellas?
Jonathan, thanks. Well, if you bet win, if you could find any action this morning against Tacitus and Country House, you collected some money in that workout that went a little bit awry.
I like Win when he cuts back in distance. That's what I'm going to like.
Tickets to the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival. They're selling fast. Enhance your experience with one of our all-inclusive premium hospitality packages. Buy tickets or reserve your seats at Ticketmaster.com or BelmontStakes.com. Belmont Stakes, where champions are crowned. Maggie Wolfendale stepping in for me when we come back.
Eclipse champion Blame was considered by many as the breakout stallion of 2018. His top runners included Grade 1 winner and Eclipse Award finalist Marley's Freedom, plus Grade 1 winner Fault and graded stakes winners Moreau, Beyond Blame, Miss Kentucky, and Blamed. His yearling sold up to $500,000, and his sensational daughter Fault brought $1.2 million at the November sale. Outstanding results, outstanding value. Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Classic Empire. Roy H. in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Sam Marcos will win it. Rushing Bull has done it.
For the WinStar Win program, it was a big, big day. That's the finest breeding program in Central Kentucky.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races. As always, we're brought to you by Run Happy, champion sprinter standing at Claiborne Farm for $25,000, race medication free his entire racing career. Welcome back. I'm Maggie Wolfendale. Greg Wolf stepping aside, a much-deserved break, but I'm joined by two lovely gentlemen. That is Gary Stevens and Andy Serling. Guys, nice to be up here. I'm going to tell you what, these lights are actually warming compared to down there.
You've been here for about 30 seconds, Maggie. Keep talking.
The wind,
you'll be running away in 40
died
minutes.
down too.
We all know who's the tougher of the two between Andy and I, at
the
least.
least tough.
Yeah, but we
For
do
sure.
have Oaklawn race number 3 heading towards the gate. We're going to send it out to Nancy Holthus. Nancy?
Thanks so much, Maggie. Well, I'm thinking I'm going to try to beat the favorite here, who is from the barn of Brad Cox. Always a difficult thing to do. And go with the standout gray in this one, who is living up to the namesake of Plum Gorgeous from the barn of Freddie Villafranca. Ramon Vasquez aboard. Now, is a 4-time winner in here, who is facing some that are still non-3. Did run over the slop last go. Probably didn't care for it, does get a fast surface today, and is sliding under the radar, just eligible for this one. This is non-winners of a race by June 28th. The last win was June 21st. This is also the third start off the extended break, so could be sitting on a very solid peak performance here. Also debuts for the barn off the claim, and we all know that Freddie Villafranco is very solid in that category, firing about 18%. But talking about the favoritism with Brad Cox is the number 2, Hide and Seek Sally, racing for the Steve Landers Racing. Stuart Elliott climbs aboard and does also race off the claim. The barn also solid in that category as well. Maggie, you definitely deserve to be under the spotlight.
Well, thank you, Nancy. Very kind of you. And guys, number 2, Hide and Seek Sally, claimed off, though, of Robertino Diodoro. We'll throw it out to Vic Stauffer with the call of Oaklawn's 3rd.
Touch Me Now. The last two are She's a Lucky One and Unprovoked. They're at the post. They're off. Unprovoked broke well, so did JP's Gladys. Can't Touch Me Now, Essie's Reward, and Plum Gorgeous. And Hide and Seek Sally, who moves through at the rail. The top 6 separated by about a length and a half. Then comes Foxy Mischief, and the trailer is She's a Lucky One. JP's Gladys rides the rail to the lead, ahead in front of Plum Gorgeous in second. Unprovoked is 3 deep in third. Hide and Seek Sally continues to ride the rail. She's a joint third now and 2 from the front. Essie's Reward has 5 lengths to make up. Foxy Mischief just passed Can't Touch Me Now, and She's a Lucky One is at the back of the pack as JP's Gladys has taken the lead. JP's Gladys, but now Plum Gorgeous right back at her, and Plum Gorgeous counterpunches and takes the lead. Hide and Seek Sally angles off the rail for her charge. She's a length from the lead. Outside of her, it's Unprovoked, and Plum Gorgeous leads. Hide and Seek Sally rallying up the rail is Foxy Mischief, and she's got a chance. And here comes Foxy Mischief to challenge Plum Gorgeous, and Foxy Mischief has taken the lead. Plum Gorgeous back to second. Foxy Mischief. Foxy Mischief beat Plum Gorgeous 3/4 of a length. Hide and Seek Sally was third, close for fourth.
Up the rail comes Foxy Mischief. First off the trainer change, guys, to Johnny Ortiz. Gary, you were just saying you won his first greatest stakes for him at Keeneland, right?
Alpha Zulu last year, yeah. It was a fun day, and he's really good off the claim. John, a good horseman. His stable's getting bigger and bigger, and a great ride by Ricardo Santana to move one more up on David Cohen.
Probably his first last day ride there, probably.
Yeah, and did he lose the
well,
whip
he
late
has
stretch
it.
here?
He has it right now. He's got it
Yeah.
now. He's still got it.
Boy, he moved this horse up
Does
off
he
the
have
claim.
it there? I don't know.
Or
if
not
he
the
has
claim.
Might have lost it now. No, he's still
oh, no,
got
he
it.
still got it. Okay. But he seriously moved this horse up, and as you were just saying, I mean, as far as figures, as far as recent performances, this horse wasn't even coming close to many of these in here.
No.
He was dropping considerably off a trainer change, but boy, his form recently has been weak.
And you know what? As good as he is off the claim, this is actually his first win off a trainer
Off
change.
a trainer,
yeah,
yep.
which is interesting out of, I think, 12 starters. But we are back here at Belmont Park, race number 5. It's in the paddock right now, as these are 16 non-2 life horses. Guys, as we will check in with Paul LaDuca, who is standing by in the paddock. Paul, what are you seeing from these fillies and mares?
Well, Maggie, thank you very much. I'm seeing actually a lot of anxious horses, and when you look at the PPs, you see that in a couple of these. The 3 in here, Simone, are not really getting played at the window. I actually talked to just Rudy Rodriguez just now, and he said the gate has gotten her beat the last 2 times, but you could say that about the 2, as well as the 5 horses having troubles out of the gate. So has the 6 horse. So there's 4 horses in here that have had issues out of the gate. But Rudy Rod thought if she can get out of the gate today, she would be ultra tough. To get to the 2 horse, the Steve Asmussen runner for Jose Ortiz, I thought looked okay. But again, broke 9 out of 10 last time and 10 out of 10 and just had too much to do. And she's the type of filly that needs to be up on the pace. Of all the other horses in here that are taking, I guess, not a lot of money that were actually, again, played down a little bit. His 3rd card down with Dylan Davis looking for his 2nd on the card, I thought looked tremendous. And if you look back, and I understand this horse is coming off a try on the turf, but that 7 furlong 16 non-2 race puts her right in the mix. And then the fastest horse in the field is the 7 on the outside for Jason Service. Got a lot of speed. I don't know about a lot of stick, but it looks good. Obviously looks speedy in here, but I still don't know what's going on with the board, guys. Maybe Andy can tell me a little bit about the 1. Maybe he's the one he gave out all over New York City.
I was going to say, Andy, you were all about number 1, Dancing with Daffodils, a horse that you mentioned early on in the show that is dropping back down into a level where she can be competitive and at a distance she likes.
Yeah, I don't know why she's not logically one of the horses to beat in this race. I mean, she was, since she was claimed, she's running 2 races she A, had no chance in. She can't possibly beat the horse she's been running against. And B, they've been the wrong distance, and she hasn't even run that badly. Her races are better going shorter, and I just think she's a somewhat logical horse in this race, especially because Veradia, as was touched on, she has trouble getting out of the gate. She can win the 2 Veradia. Simona, the 3, she just doesn't win. She's a short price race after race and doesn't win. And yes, Midnight's all right, won easily last time. And her trainer, Jason Service, is very good off maiden wins with claimers. But she's just not that good. And she beat straight 3-year-olds in a very subpar field last time. I just think that Dance with Daffodils is a very logical horse. So probably about 3-1 or 7-2.
And this will be Midnight's All Right's first start against older horses. And she's going to have a little pace pressure, you would have to think, by the outside runners, too. It's just not your day. So her job doesn't get it any easier on the front end.
I agree. You would think that Ben Giordano is going to go with that horse. And if that's the case, I think she's a very dubious short price near Midnight's All Right. She was bet last time like she couldn't possibly lose, coming off of 2 dreadful performances. We'll see if she runs back to it against not a killer field, but a tougher field.
Well, we're talking about speed, one that has been certainly fast in the morning down at Churchill Downs. Impressing everybody who's been watching him is, by my standards, the Brett Calhoun, a trainee, as we'll see him go this morning, 48-2. And Gary, every work you see, this horse is stoutly on the bridle.
Yeah, and he's been impressive, and he's flying under the radar in the public, but not so much with the guys that are in the know back there. Everybody's kind of talking about him as the now horse, and he works in 48-2, and this is an absolute breeze. He's not being asked to do anything right now. His fitness is done. They've got to just keep him happy and where he's at. And I think this horse could surprise a few people.
Again, with Gabriel Saez, and again, by himself. Now, Gary, he's a tough horse in the morning to gallop. You see him, he's very much on the bridle. Is that something that they're kind of consciously doing, keeping him away from other horses by himself?
Yeah, well, we saw those horses working in company earlier this morning, all of them. They're more aggressive when they're in company, and they definitely relax a lot better when they're by themselves.
All right, a under-the-radar wise guy horse, as this one not being a wise guy horse, as she's taking a lot of money to kick off the post parade here for Belmont Race 5, Dancing with Daffodils.
She's finally running back at an appropriate distance against an appropriate field of competition.
Steve Asmussen and assistant Toby Sheets will send out Veradia.
Probably had an excuse not to be second last time, but it's that she got left, and she's a horse that has trouble breaking cleanly.
Simona, talking about having trouble getting to the winner's circle, loves to finish second with 7 lifetime place finishes out of 21.
And 4 straight races under 2-1 where she didn't get the money. She can win, but she's going to beat me.
She's a Lumberjane, a fellow 3-year-old who does take a bit of drop in class.
She would need to improve off her best record to be any factor here.
Third card down will go out for Gary Contessa.
I don't know why she's taking money. She's the one that confuses me. Frankly, she's not a turf horse, even though she ran the turf last time. I just don't know if she's good enough.
Number 6 is Jacqueline D. Harry Hernandez rides this one for trainer Dominic Scatino.
She just seems a little bit slower than this field.
And we were talking about the speed, the early speed of Midnight's All Right. Manny Franco will look for another winner on the card for the ever-dangerous Jason Service.
Her last race makes her a major player in here, even though it was against weaker. But her prior races to that, her 3 prior races, are not very good.
7-pound bug, Benji Hernandez will ride for Randy Prasad, and It's Just Not Your Day, number 8.
If not necessarily a win candidate, she could be a factor, as Maggie pointed out, as a potential speed, a thorn in the side of Midnight's All Right.
All right, we'll take a look at number 7, Midnight's All Right. This is her last race and her lone win of her career, finally getting the job done in a maiden 30, but she does it in style.
Yeah, she romped in this race, and she broke sharp that day. Paul was talking about all the fillies that are having difficulties away from the gate. She's not one of them. She breaks clean every time, and I think she's going to be the speed of the speed, and Manny might dictate things up in front if she comes back to this form of breaking her maiden. Granted, it was lesser type horses, but she beat them the way she was supposed to, and when these fillies get good, sometimes they can stay good.
I'm not going to argue any of that. She can absolutely win this race if she runs back to her last race, but it was just funny last time because if you look at her prior form just 2 months earlier, she had been running dismally. A bad 4th at 3-5, a bad 4th at 9-5, a bad 7th at 2-1, and they bet her like somebody knew that this was a changed horse because her earlier form, her first 4 races were very good, relatively speaking. She got back to that, but she's running now for 16,000, which is appropriate, but it doesn't suggest that Jay Service has a lot of confidence in her.
I mean, but did she really get back to them? She runs the same numbers she did as a 2-year-old. You always tend to expect a horse to take a little bit of a step forward as a 3-year-old, don't you?
Yeah, well, that's why she got back to them. She didn't improve on them.
Right, exactly. Well, number 5 is third card down. Gary Contessa will switch this one back from turf to dirt. Andy, as you had said, and look, she was a big price last time. She's back in here with her friends. Why are people gravitating to this filly?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I guess her race 2 back is good enough to make her a factor. Her prior 3 races are not. But I think you could argue that her race 2 back, her last dirt race, is good enough to give her a shot. Listen, there are no killers in this field, and I think we can all agree with that. So anybody that has a little form somewhere deserves a look.
The third card down, and she's also getting Dylan Davis back aboard, who was on her for that second place race 2 back. And Dylan's been on a little bit of a roll here lately. He had a great winter meeting, and it's rolled over here, it looks like, at the start of Belmont Park.
Yeah, exactly. Coming from a rich and deep racing family.
And I think Dylan's very happy that he had his father ride Dublin Green in the last race.
I don't think he... He was very accommodating to let
That
his
was
dad
nice.
ride
Yeah,
that
it really
one.
was nice to let that go.
Yeah. All right. Well, back to number 1 here, Dancing with Daffodils. Look. She gets Kendrick Carmouche aboard. She's not a horse that's fast enough going this distance to be forwardly placed, but he is giving her a big warm-up. Do you see her sitting kind of right behind those early pace setters, Andy, or is she further back
I
than
think
that?
she and Simona, assuming every race cleanly, I think she and Simona are in the 3rd or 4th spot behind both the 2 outside horses in this race. Kendrick's not going to let him get away. Now, you wonder, sometimes if they cut back from the routes, does it dull their speed a little bit, Gary?
It could, I guess, but I think that's why Kendrick's warming her up extra special right now and trying to get her on her toes. And Kendrick's one of those guys that horses, he sits in there chilly. I mean, very relaxed, like a bump on a log. Looks like he's doing nothing and he's not ready. And you know what? Those horses sense that, and they leave there. They get comfortable in there with it, but they still are very alert. And he's getting her alert right now. Go in there, and they stand good for him, and they normally break very well.
Looks like she's moving great,
yeah,
too,
she
on
is.
the racetrack.
She's a pretty mover.
I really thought she was kind of turning things the right way. I'm not trying to say she's some kind of superstar for Bruce Brown, and it just seems like when claimed by Edmund Pringle, he just got a little bit overly ambitious with her. The 2 races she was in were not only tougher horses, but sort of asked her to go a distance that she had shown in the past she just didn't want.
You saw prices up there for Oaklawn's race number 3. Foxy Mischief returned a healthy $19 for the win for Johnny Ortiz and Ricardo Santana. Potent connections, to say the least.
Wasn't John Ortiz in luck with you, Gary?
That's a different John Ortiz. But yes.
Just checking.
Yes.
I always think of that when I see that it was the trainer because I wasn't familiar with
When
him.
I was named on my first horse for him, I hadn't met John yet, and it happened to be the filly that won the stake that day, and he had me come and work her. And I'm thinking, John Ortiz, and you know what? He kind of looks like John Ortiz that was in luck. But super nice kid, and I'm glad to see him doing well. He gets on a lot of his own horses, and he's a very good horseman. He's going to have a great future.
Well, it's not every day you get to sit up here next to a movie star, but...
Thanks. I appreciate that, Maggie. Oh, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Gary?
No. No.
All right. Well, if you're playing the Derby, make sure you do so through your Naira Bets account. Bet $25 plus that new member bonus, and you use promo code ROSES. I'll be running for the roses too. Check out NairaBets.com for all the details to get started. No better time than now, with less than a week away from the Derby, to get that Naira Bets account as we are fastly approaching the gate. Any final thoughts here, guys, with this 6 furlong contest?
I'm rooting for the 1 Dance for Daffodils. I bet on her.
And Eddie Pringle, man, he is a nice guy.
Right.
I'm
in the winner's circle.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a flying chance on Midnight's All Right, the 7
All
horse.
right. We'll see if she can go
Even
gate
run
to wire.
9 to 5.
Nah, she's the worst to beat. It's
All
not a
right,
terrible
Whip.
price if you like her.
It's not bad.
And then you have Veradia and Simona, who've been knocking on this door for Steve Asmussen and Rudy Rodriguez. Those are 2 connections you don't often want to ignore.
I'm going to try to beat Simona. I used Dance with Daffodils and Exactas with both Veradia and Midnight's All Right.
3rd card down scares me, being knocked down to 4-1. Somebody
don't know
somebody
why
knows
not,
something.
but maybe
She
you're
is
right.
taking some play, as we will see Simona load in the gate there, the Ben Mondello, very recognizable colors with those cards on the front, and Hector Diaz Jr. aboard, as we will throw it on up to Larry Colmus, the voice of the Triple Crown for Belmont race number 5.
And the last 3 runners are set to come forward. Midnight's All Right is moving into the starting gate next, in company with She's a Lumberjane, and that will leave It's Just Not Your Day up to the outside stall to complete the line. 7 to 5 right now on Midnight's All Right, and they're all in line. They're off. Jacqueline D broke well. There goes Midnight's All Right, and It's Not Your Day on the outside. These 2 out for the lead with Simona away running in 3rd. And then it's Dancing with Daffodils 4th on the inside, followed by Jacqueline D. And then Veradia down toward the rail. She's a Lumberjane in 3rd car down at the back of the pack, moving for the far turn. It's Just Not Your Day is the leader, 3/4 of a length over Midnight's All Right through a 23.16 first quarter mile. And then it's Simona third, 2.5 lengths off of them, followed by Dancing with Daffodils on the inside, Jacqueline D and Varadia. She's a Lumberjane, has 7 lengths to make up, starting to pick up stride, going outside of horses. Third car down at the back of the field as they make their way to the top of the stretch. Midnight's all right, it's just not your day on the inside, joined by Simona from the outside. Now the 3 of them are across the track. She's a Lumberjane has made progress on the far outside. Varadia rallies to an opening down toward the rail, and Dancing with Daffodils is trying to come on too. It's Simona to catch. Down to the 16th pole, in the clear by 4, and they won't catch Simona, who's running strongly for the wire. The race is for second, and it's going to be Dancing with Daffodils over Varadia, and then came Midnight's All Right.
Simona, well, it was start number 22 where she gets win number 2, and she had those 7 seconds and looked as though she won by 7 here nearly. I mean, just a kind of new performance by Simona, kind of second off that little layoff.
4 times the short price, and today she's 9-2. So I guess she got the money. She got a very good trip. It looked like Midnight's All Right had a ton of horse in there, and she was just totally empty coming
Yeah,
to the stretch, Gary.
this filly got a dream trip, maybe a confidence builder, and maybe she'll go on and do some good things because she looked a lot better today than what she's looked like in the past with all those seconds. She's just stalking on the outside, looming up, and I was kind of expecting her Midnight's All Right to go on with it here. And when he cut Simona loose, I mean, she leveled out and did what everybody's been waiting for her to do for a long time.
My horse Dancing with Daffodils is not going to win. Obviously, the winner won so easily, but I'm going to say my friend Kendra Carmouche, maybe not his best ride. She got in trouble in a couple
Well,
of
as you
spots.
said, the 3 took her position, and maybe that was
Well,
kind
in the
of
back
what
stretch,
happened.
she kind of took the position away from her. It happened around the half mile, maybe
Well,
9/16 pole. But in the stretch, he seemed a little indecisive, didn't he, Gary?
No.
No?
Here's my take on it. He drew the 1 hole. This filly's coming out of the route race. It's shortening up. We talked about that. Tough to get position out of the 1 hole when you got a horse that's shortening up. Maybe the speed was dulled a little bit. They were going into the far turn, and he was back off the pace. He was getting through on the fence, and there was nowhere to go on the fence. And I don't think she was doing her best running. He thought maybe if he got her out in the clear where she wasn't getting the dirt in her face, that possibly she would hit another gear. And she did find some run here at the end coming late. But 6 furlongs, maybe 6.5, 7/8 makes a little bit of a difference. But nobody was going to beat Simona today.
Anyway.
No, she was
Nobody
not going to beat
was.
the winner.
I
But she
would
did
say.
good to get up and run second.
All right, well, we will have prices and official results when we come back as you're checking out Simona in the winner's circle, getting her picture taken with Hector Diaz and Rudy Rodriguez. Stay tuned. You're watching America's Day at the Races.
There's a power so selfless, it has the ability to heal, to inspire, to unite, to change your life.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
ABR at the races. Make that hashtag ABR at the races. If you are up for anything, you want to check out americasbestracing.net for the latest and greatest news in the sport of kings. And if you're big on Twitter and you have fun at the races, you like fashion, you like food, you like, and most importantly, betting and playing the horses, make sure you use that hashtag. And our Twitter poll of the week is which horses who won the Kentucky Derby and Preakness but lost the Belmont were your favorite. Wow, we had a lot in the past 20 years, finally breaking through with the Triple Crown winners of American Pharoah and Justify. But guys, I mean, I know, Gary, you can speak from experience, but who were some of your favorites? Mine personally was Smarty Jones. I think, you know, he was kind of a blue-collar type of horse that just narrowly got defeated in the Belmont.
Well, I'm a little bit biased.
Yeah, of course.
In that Silver Charm in 1997. He ran a great race, touched gold better on the day, and then coming back the next year, another horse that I think really deserved to be a Triple Crown winner was Real Quiet, and I was the guy that upset the apple cart with Victory Gallop and got lucky to get the nose down on the wire and get a great trip that year. But two of the horses that I think were very deserving of, all of them were deserving of that list that we saw there, but those are two that I had something to do with, I was a part of, and I felt like those horses both deserved to be in the Triple Crown winners.
Really lucky that you got the nose down? The stewards.
Yes, they would have burned
they
the
would
place
have to
down.
take that. They had to take that horse, clobbered you.
The feeling I had that day, the different feelings I had from the 16th pole to the wire, were the two deepest emotions I'd ever felt. And in knowing that I was about to win the Triple Crown for America, and then having it swooped away just strides before the finish line, and standing up and congratulating Chris McCarron because we got outrun, but the emotions and the excitement, and then to just be gutted like that, it's a very strange feeling to have those two highs, high and a low in a matter of seconds.
Going in, you must have known that Touch Goal was the horse you had to worry about.
Yeah, I did. I mean, he had stumbled in the Preakness that year and probably was best in there. He stumbled bad, grabbed a quarter, and then he had nowhere to go at the 16th pole, was stopped again and still ran on. And the talk all week long was that the quarter that he caught on the hill was possibly going to keep him out of the Belmont Stakes, so I wasn't that worried. And then I saw him warming up, and I said, "There's nothing wrong with this horse." But we were going down the backside, midway at the 5.5 pole, and I passed McCarron. He just didn't look like he was traveling with a lot of energy. Went by him, so when he passed me down the lane, I'd already passed him once, and Eddie D told me, he says, you moved too early, and I probably did.
That was nice of him.
Well, here at America's Day at the Races, we just saw race number 5 here at Belmont. 9-2 on Simona. Rudy Rodriguez, 11:20 over Dancing with Daffodils, and Veradia to complete that trifecta. And the early pick 5 pays $261.75 for 50 cents, as we will kick off the late pick 5 here in race number 6. It's coming up. It's an optional allowance for the New York breds. And with that, our man to go to with these sequential wagers is Paul LaDuca, as he's standing by with his late pick 5 ticket.
Thanks, Maggie. Sitting down here in the winner's circle, trying to pick some winners, and you have to make your decision really early in this pick 5 whether you want a single Lovely Lala. I know that she is 4-5 on the board. She's playing about 1-5 in the exotic. She's a giant favorite. I'm going to go a little deeper. I think Pinchbeck is a sneaky horse in here. I'm going to try to beat her. 4, 5, 6, 7 in race number 1. We go all the way to race number 2, 3, and 7. Obviously, my key is going to be Fire Key, no pun intended, in the turf race. I think sprinting is his best option. And then in race number 10, the finale today, 4, 10, and 11. A couple other notes out of race number 5. The number 7 horse for Jason Service was claimed. And then I get to talk to Kendrick Carmouche, because he had a lot of dirt on his face. And I asked him, how is the track playing? He said it's playing absolutely beautiful. It is a little muddy, a tiny bit of muddy, but he says it's playing fast, but you're able to come from off the pace. So he thought it was very fair, guys.
Paul, thank you. And I would say the same thing from watching the races up here, as we are getting close 2 post time at Oaklawn Park. And guys, this one is a maiden 20. We're going the 6 furlongs once again, 9-5 on Tis a Sharpie for the Steve Asmussen barn. Arguably, I mean, ran the best race as far as speed figures are concerned. We'll turn back though from the mile and a 16th where she ran that 63.
I like the cutbacks. I got a trivia question for Maggie in this race.
Oh, whoa.
The dam of the 2, Pretty Savvy, the firster.
Yes.
Rough Water. Who trained her?
Rough Water, was it Peter Pugh?
Tony Dutrow.
Tony Dutrow. There's a half risky. Do you remember Risque Reality?
Oh, is this?
That's the Peter Pugh one.
There you
So
go.
this horse is half to Risque Reality. It was a decent sprinter.
You ready to go back to California, Gary? You had enough of
He's
this
like,
nonsense?
who are they?
That's
talking about?
The wind I could do without. The rest of it I'm loving.
Okay.
I'm taking a shot with this first-time starter in here if I can get my bet down.
I like this one. I thought Starvana was a little interesting. Protected her coming off that long layoff. Just got run down by a repeat winner last time out. Ran a 69 as well. So I'm going to take Starvana.
Andy's got the gloves off.
Oh, he is getting his way
He's on the Naira bets. You better hustle up.
I
Dude,
know. Hustle up with
I
this
am like
too
the
here.
fastest gun
Are
in the
you down?
West.
All right, I think we are one out.
down.
I'm
as
down.
Frugal Betty will take her place in the starting gate for Tim Martin and Joe Rocco Jr. as we'll send it out to Vic Stauffer with the call of Oaklawn Race 4.
They're at the post. They're off. Tis a Sharpie broke beautifully, a bit outward, but beautifully. Frugal Betty and My Girl Rocket. Now, Sandy Sangria's on the move, and there goes Sandy Sangria all the way up to take over the lead from My Girl Rocket. Starvana and Frugal Betty now 3rd and 4th, with Pretty Savvy and Tis a Sharpie 5th and 6th. Then it's 4 back to Prado's Trust, followed by NoHo, and the trailer is Heffington. Sandy Sangria into the far turn, a length in front of My Girl Rocket in 2nd. Starvana gallops 3rd, and she's about 4 from the front and 2 lengths in front of Frugal Betty. Then comes the first-time starter Pretty Savvy, just took 4th now and about 5 from the front. Tis a Sharpie's got to go from there. She's still 7 lengths behind. Heffington's out of last place. She's got 10 to close. Then Prado's Trust and NoHo. Looks like a match race at the top of the stretch between Sandy Sangria and My Girl Rocket. They are far clear for the final furlong. My Girl Rocket outside. Sandy Sangria at the rail, and Sandy is half ahead in front. My Girl Rocket going to stay with her, and these two in a very good tussle. Sandy Sangria inside. My Girl Rocket outside. They are still noses apart. Sandy Sangria. Sandy Sangria beat My Girl Rocket. He was 10 back to Starvana and Pretty Savvy.
It was a close one, but Vic said it was all number 1, Sandy Sangria, guys, and we were just laughing. I mean, this horse taking a considerable drop, obviously, maiden special weight to the maiden 20, but had no speed whatsoever first time out. Broke 11th of 11. Today, 1 hole, breaks 1 of 9.
Yeah, she broke slowly, and and she didn't show much run. It gave them a license to drop her in today, and obviously she wasn't bet the first time. Was 12 to 1 on the morning line today, but gets an extremely hustling ride from Louis Quinones, and Louis staying busy on her all the way through the stretch, back and forth, right-handed, left-handed, and she just ekes out the win.
I think My Girl Rocket finished where she wants to finish, 2nd or 3rd. And I learned something. Hey, you learn something new every day. I learned that Euro Ears is standing at stud in Oklahoma, the sire
Never knew
of
that.
Sandy Sangria.
There
It's
you
a
go.
turf sprinter, right?
Yes. I
Nice
remember
turf
him.
sprinter.
Yeah. No, he was fun to watch. He was like a really, I think he was like a really dark bay horse.
Fairgrounds? Run anything at Fairgrounds a
He
lot?
ran
Does that
at
sound right?
Fairgrounds, but I feel like, didn't he run a race or 2 up here?
He might have. Yeah, I think he did.
I
You're
think
right.
I remember looking at him. Well, race number 6 here at beautiful Belmont Park is coming up. As I said, it is a allowance for the New York breds. This one, we'll see Lovely Lala coming back off of the long layoff for Chad Brown, as she also came off of a somewhat disappointing effort in the Ticonderoga, as we'll look at her last win, 2 starts back over a yielding course like this one here. And Andy, she was just kind of much the best this day.
Yeah, I think the Ticonderoga's won by 55. You almost wonder if she not entered to be a rapid, but was in that race, hardly helping the pace. In this particular situation, she just was better than the other horse, and she's just a little super logical horse. They're always over bet, these Chad Brown horses, these spots, but he comes back off these layoffs with great numbers.
That he does. And, you know, she is a horse that does have some tactical speed. We'll see if she does secure that. Yeah, that early lead. Some other horses coming back off layoffs include number 3, Broken Border for Jason Service. But, guys, we will kick off this late pick 5 as we come back. Horses in the paddock for race number 6. You are watching America's Day at the Races. I'll be stepping off set, and your man Greg Wolf will be back on. Stay tuned.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
Warfront has sired 8 champions and 10 millionaires. Recent Grade 1 winners include Homesman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy Flag, plus 2019 Kentucky Derby hopeful War of Will. He's also sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, and international super sire on all surfaces and all fronts. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. The plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Next on America's Day at the Races, a turf sprint is Belmont Sunday features Broadway Run. Looks to add a second stakes win in the license fee. She'll have to hold off Fire Key. This multiple stakes winning mare hopes to return to her winning ways with a return to Belmont Park. It's all coming up on today's edition of America's Day at the Races. Welcome to those watching on MSG Plus, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. Our feature race, the Grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile out at Lone Star. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling, Gary Stevens, Paul LaDuca, Maggie Wolfendale, all with you this afternoon. And this race out at Lone Star, title ready, 5-2 on the morning line. Has that inside slot for trainer Steve Asmussen with Richard Aramia aboard.
Yeah, he's the horse to beat here. He's in good form. He's going to get a fast pace to run out. He's a horse that could drop back as far as last early in this race. But now he's going from a one-turn mile to a two-turn mile. And we'll see if that somewhat mitigates his closing kick, because sometimes those one-turn races are really good for the closers to make that run. But he's in good form and an improving horse for trainer Steve Asmussen.
He'll be looking for his 4th victory in 17 career starts. It'll be his first try at Lone Star. This is a good one coming up. Their feature race of this meet, one of 2 that Steve Asmussen will send out. He'll have the long shot for Eva Mo as well, who will break from post 7 in that race. Get signed up, started, play along with all the races we bring you each and every day here. Use the promo code ROSES. You'll get a $25 win bet, or bet $25, I should say, on the Derby. If you run 2nd or 3rd, we give you your money back. You also get a $200 new member bonus at sign up within the first 14 days of wagering. $200. Go to NairaBets.com. Meanwhile, at Belmont, race 6 is coming up. We're approaching the 9-minute mark. The post mile on the turf, and Lovely Lala. Even money right now. What'd you think of Lovely Lala?
She's absolutely the horse to beat. Is even money a little on the short side? Yes. But you're always going to get a little bit of an underlay with these Chad Brown horses because they do deliver. And if you look at his numbers with horses coming off of similar layoffs, 4 to 8 months, and this one's almost exactly 6 months, he's 35% with over 150 starters over the last 5 years with an ROI of over $2, which is just downright remarkable.
Here come the riders ready to do battle here in a race that will kick off the Naira Betts Late Pick 5.
You involved, Greg? No, that's right. You don't have to tell me.
I'm not involved today.
I got a backup for Lovely Lala, the 1A Cartwheel.
Okay.
Waiting for this filly to get back on the grass. You know, she ran once in the grass at Saratoga, broke from a far outside post, threw her head at the start, broke about a length slow, and she was 4 wide pretty much the entire way around the track, and she was really digging in the late stages. I think she deserves another chance in the turf. The problem is, like so many other horses, she kept getting rained off. Mark Hennig ran her in dirt races because she is proficient on the dirt. But I think she deserves another chance in the turf.
We know she could beat Lovely Lala, at least on the main track.
Yeah, but this is green. That was brown.
That was a race that was taken off the turf. Meanwhile, there's a look at the Chad Brown filly, daughter of Uncle Mo. Jose Ortiz will have the call this afternoon. We know she's quick. Is there any other pace that wants to go with her in here?
Well, I don't think so. I think that she is going to be in front in this race, or she's at least supposed to be in front of these horses early. But I'll tell you something. I think Cartwheel's going to have some speed in here, so I won't be surprised to see her relatively close. And even a horse like Pinchbeck could be close, somewhat close in here coming out of sprints.
Well, another one coming out of sprints is Dream Passage.
Yes.
Joelle Rosario will be aboard for Brad Cox. Now, she doesn't like to get to the front. She's stretching out, though, from 5.5 furlongs. She was most recently at the fairgrounds. There she is.
I don't get all the action for this horse. It's almost as though the public doesn't realize that she's running at a mile today. She's got a very burst, a real short burst that's powerful. But it's much more effective in shorter races, and I think it's going to be muted a mile. And to me, she's the horse that's dramatically overbet in this race. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at her only 2 starts at this distance, she's not even hit the board. But somehow she's 7-2 from an 8-1 morning line in this race.
And even when she was second a mile and 16th, it wasn't a particularly fast fig. I'm surprised she's taking as much money as she is. I have a feeling that she's a horse that looks good on the sheets.
Well, this one not taking money. This is Barrico, 7-2 morning line, 9-1. Right now, moving to the barn of Danny Gargan.
Well, you might remember, it's hard to get them together because I've had so many fights with so many people over the years in the show, but you'll remember Frank Miramati and I get into a spirited debate in Saratoga about Barriqua, and my point was that these Midwest stable horses, once they were taken away from Danny Gargan, they didn't win at all. And she hadn't run well. Well, she's now back in Danny Gargan's barn. And Danny's had a lot of success. I think at least 2 Midwest stable horses that were transferred back to him won at Aqueduct. So I think you can think that maybe she'll get back to her best form. Is that going to be good enough, though?
Paul LaDuca put together a Pick 5 ticket. We mentioned the Naira Betts Late Pick 5 begins in this race. He's going to go 4 deep to kick things off. His single will come in the license fee. That is race 9. He's going to single the morning line favorite in there, Fire Key. It's a difficult race, though.
It is difficult. It's a difficult sequence. I don't envy Paul having to put together a ticket in this. And I guess in order to get a ticket for even a reasonable amount of money, he's going to have to single somewhere. We'll see. I picked her, but there are other horses in that race. That's not an easy race, but she is the horse to beat.
All right, here comes our post parade for the first leg of this Naira Betts Late Pick 5 sequence. Here's the remaining half of the entry, and this is Cartwheel. It's going to break from post 4.
As I was talking earlier, her one turf race a lot better than it looks on paper. Not even that bad on paper. She had a tough trip that day. I'd taken a flyer with this one.
Beyond Discreet, John Velasquez for David Donk.
She's a better horse on the dirt, and I just don't know if she's fast enough.
Broken Border at 8-1. It's Manny Franco for Jason Service.
She really has not had good form for a couple of years for Jason Service.
Lovely Lala, the 6-5 favorite, making her 4-year-old debut for Chad Brown.
These Chad Brown horses deliver off of layoffs with a very high percentage.
Barriqua, we just talked about for Danny Gargan. It will be Kendrick Carmouche aboard coming in from Gulfstream.
I think if you look at the multi-race bets, there's a good chance she'll be second choice by post time, but she's a very generous price going back to Danny's barn.
And just went for $16,000. So stepping up here, Dream Passage, Brad Cox, trainee, 7-2.
Yeah, I think she's going to be somewhat distance challenged in this race, but she's taking an awful lot of money.
Pinchbeck been sprinting on dirt of late. Rajiv Mirage for Kieran McLaughlin.
If you like her, your thinking is she's in her best, improved on dirt, and she's better on turf.
Unbridled Adventure, Sent out by Bruce Levine. 0 for 10 on turf.
Yeah, if you're betting her, you're hoping for a very strong rainstorm to move through and take this race off the turf with a minute to go. It's not happening.
And I'm looking right now. I don't see it in the area.
I'm not pessimistic with that. I'm optimistic that won't happen.
Two Docs lifting off is the 9 Eric Consell for George Weaver.
Claimed out of a lower level claiming race in the last race, but George Weaver does not get involved with too many claims. He does well with them, but he did not claim this horse. The Connections claimed it with a different trainer down at Fairgrounds.
And that's our field for race 6 here at Belmont, as we have Paul LaDuca now with us on set. We just saw your Naira Betts late pick 5. Paul, we mentioned you're going to single in that feature race.
Yeah.
Not an easy race. The sequence not easy.
It really is not an easy sequence. And whether you want to single Lovely Lala, like Andy was saying, Chad is so good off these layoffs, or whether you want to go deep. I'm trying to beat her in this spot, but I would, if you want to go deep and you don't like Fire Key, and even in race number 7, is that too deep or not? There could be some other talented horses in there, too.
If I had to single in this sequence, and I'm not somebody who likes the idea of singling, I would have singled the number 4, Rumor Driven, in race number 10 for Chad Brown.
I can see where you're going.
That's
there,
where
yeah.
I would have
Yeah.
singled that horse. I think of all
Try to get
everybody
to
in
the
here,
last, yeah.
that one's. I mean, it's such a tough. I'd rather single it psychologically in the first and get the pain over with one way or another. But I think that's the one I find to be the likeliest winner in the sequence.
Sometimes people do like to single a horse like the 4 here at 6-5. Because, like Andy says, get it over with, and then you can sit on your laurels and go through the pick 4. Or if not, if the horse doesn't win, then you got pick 4.
I take issue with that.
No, I don't like singling, but I think if psychologically, I've always liked the single early. Just get it over with.
You got to take a single where you think a single's going to win. It's not just
I
start us
no,
off.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. You single.
But there have been people who do play that way.
I had a big pick 6 once with a single in the last race of an even money shot, ridden by our friend Richard Migliori, because I just couldn't find anybody else to play in that race, and luckily the horse did win easily. But psychologically, it's just hard. You get there and you go, oh God, I got one chance.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll look at a pick 4 or a pick 5 or pick 6, like he's referencing to, and you're trying to get to the last race, and you keep including horses, and you get to the last, and you're like, wow, I don't have enough money to go 2 or 3 deep. I have to single, and sometimes you'll get lucky.
But you're right, Greg. If you're going to single, you find the one you think is the best one, regardless of what leg it's in.
Maggie Wolfadale is all over this place, and Belmont's a big place.
Yes.
She was just on set hosting. Where is she now, Maggie?
In the winner's circle, Greg. Quite used to it. I just need my horse here. I could get around a little bit faster if I had Jaeger to be my co-host with. But we do have 2 layoff horses. Obviously, one is your heavy favorite in Lovely Lala. Coming back for a 4-year-old campaign is this daughter of Uncle Mo. Now, she is a lighter frame type of filly, but honestly, I wish she'd filled out a little bit more. But don't get me wrong. She's well prepared. She's fresh. I mean, she's been on her toes and just displaying a lot of energy as we see Jose Ortiz kicked his legs out of the saddle there, kind of adjusting his equipment, but trying also, I think, to keep her a little bit more calm, because she came out here like a ball of fire. But that's good, because she is a horse that has speed. So I appreciate that with these early speed types. As we'll move on to the 7-year-old mare, that is number 3, Broken Border, and Connections being very patient with this mare, who at times can be very good, and she has been able to fire fresh. I mean, you see that year-plus layoff way back from 16 to 17 where she won. She looks good. She is a heavier type, typical of a Broken Vow. So I wish she looked a little bit more tucked up. I've seen her look more defined in the past, but I respect her. I respect Connections, and you just have to wonder, has this kind of clock struck midnight now with this 5-year-old mare? Moving on to number 5, Barika, a 6-year-old for Danny Gargan, moving back into the Gargan barn. And this is a filly who got good for Danny going back 2 years ago over the summertime, mainly up at Saratoga. I think she does prefer it up there, but I'm always intrigued with these horses going back to Danny Gargan for Midwest, as they've kind of rekindled their relationship. She looks great. So I'm intrigued by Barika. And number 6 is Dream Passage, and she'll try to stretch things out. Does she cause a problem for Lovely Lala? Now, the last time she won a mount of 16, she wasn't on the lead. I don't know where she lays. It's not as if she's super sharp. I've always thought a mile was attainable for her, but obviously she's facing some accomplished horses more so at this distance than she, going out for Brad Cox. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thanks. Covered quite a few of them there for us as you look at Dream Passage at 4-1 on the board. Now the lowest price that we've seen Lovely Lala during wagering here drops down to odds on at 4-5.
That's an awfully short price.
She's shorter than that in the double. She's an $11 double. The next lowest double that you get to is the 3 at $42. So it shows you how big she is. Now she's down to 3 to 5.
That's crazy. To be honest, that's crazy. I mean, she's the horse to beat, but she's not that good. I mean, come on. What has she done on the track to say she'd be this kind of favorite? Is it negative on the others? I'm still going to take with my flyer. And I've got a big 4-1 exacta, but I think Cartwheel's going to dramatically outrun her odds.
We will see how it plays out. First leg of this Naira Bets Late Pick 5. You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 and MSG Plus. Good to have our MSG Plus audience just joining us. Larry Colmus, the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, with a call to kick things off for us in the sequence. The 4, Lovely Lala, the odds-on favorite for Chad Brown.
And just waiting for Two Ducks Lifting Off, coming up to the outside stall here. He goes in, and they're all in line. They're off. Pretty even beginning. Beyond Discreet left at the back of the pack early on as the field heads for the backstretch. It is Lovely Lala up top, the leader by a half a length. Pinchback on the outside second. Going up on their outside is Dream Passage in third. Broken Border is fourth down toward the inside, racing 2.5 lengths off the lead. Then comes Cartwheel. Unbridled Adventure is 6 behind up the backstretch. Beyond Discreet is next, and then comes Barika, and Two Ducks Lifting Off after a 24.16 quarter is trailing the field. So Dream Passage takes over here, opens up the lead by 2. Pinchback on the outside second. Lovely Lala taken back to third on the inside by 2 over Broken Border. Then Cartwheel on the outside, Unbridled Adventure, followed by Beyond Discreet along the rail. Barika between horses and Two Ducks Lifting Off is the trailer racing for the turn. 48.14 was the half mile. And it is Dream Passage and Joel Rosario a length and a half in front of Lovely Lala and Pinchback, who are stride for stride right behind. And then it's Broken Border. Cartwheel to the outside is next. Barika and Two Ducks Lifting Off, and they're coming toward the top of the stretch. Dream Passage turning for home in front, with Pinchback moving on the outside second. Lovely Lala cuts the corner, now swings up on the outside of the front runner. Broken Border is in behind them, then Barika, Cartwheel and Two Ducks Lifting Off. It's Dream Passage and Lovely Lala, 1-2. Dream Passage is still there, a length and a half. Lovely Lala full out second, and Broken Border is third. Dream Passage holds off the challenge of Lovely Lala to win it by 2. Broken Border was third, and Barika was fourth.
9-2 start to the Naira Bets Late Pick 5, and defeating a 4-5 favorite to boot. It's Dream Passage for trainer Brad Cox,
who just drug Joel Rosario to the lead. This mare by Stormy Atlantic has never seen the front end like this before, but got loose and got brave, Andy.
They bet her like they knew something, and she ran like they knew something. Maybe she had been working very well, but she has never shown this speed, even when she went longer. And, boy, they bet her, and she ran. I mean, it's not like Lovely Lala didn't run well in here.
Not at all.
She was just second best horse that ran a huge race. I don't know from where.
Even the 7 Pinchback, who was right there trying to track those slow factions, was just left in the dust of Dream Passage.
Good call by Maggie. She thought this might play out this way. This horse has almost been allergic to the lead throughout her career. Forwardly placed today, 9-2 win, and Rosario wrapped up late, just a hand ride to the finish here. Holding off the 4-5 favorite. Lovely Lala never really able to make an impact on her at this point. 6, 4, 3, 5 here in race 6.
Yeah, and that'll start off your Naira Late Pick 5. Rosario was always sitting chilly around that far turn, and when he asked the question, usually Rosario, one of the best finishers in the game, always has something left here. And like Andy said, you're getting an $11 horse to lead off this Pick 5. It's
you used
her,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Great. I'm glad I didn't play the Naira Bets Late Pick 5. I wouldn't have used this horse in a million years.
Tough, probably for many to come up with in here, although, as we mentioned, did get play. There's Dustin Dugas, assistant to Brad Cox. All smiles with that performance. And well done by Joel Rosario. Plenty left in the tank in the stretch. We'll be back with the prices from race 6 here at Belmont as we work our way to our feature race here in New York. The license fee and, of course, the Grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile out at Lone Star. Plenty more coming up on America's Day at the Races. Stay with us.
This is a colt by Run Happy out of Addison Run. We bred here at Mockra Hall. He's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well, has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. We move along here. We're underway in the Naira Bets late pick 5. It begins with the fairly big upset here. A 4-5 favorite defeated. This horse right here, Dream Passage, with the win for Brad Cox, Joel Rosario, Circle B Racing. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And joined here by assistant to Brad Cox, Dustin Dugas. And Dustin, Dream Passage, a filly, or I should say mare, that you picked up. You've been the assistant for Brad here in New York for 2 years now, but last fall, and she's been running in sprint distances. Talk about the decision to stretch her out to a mile today.
She's always, been a good closer, but, she's run down in fairgrounds. Kind of just didn't have, like, the best of racing luck, for whichever reason. But, we just decided to stretch her out today and paid it off.
And with Joel Rosario aboard, was the plan to go to the lead?
Not necessarily. It just ended up, unfolding that way, and he just coasted her along and made the best of it.
That's for sure. Holding off the heavily backed Chad Brown horse, Lovely Lala. But Dustin, you're a guy who's been around the racetrack pretty much your whole life, and you've had several types of jobs here, including being a jockey. And kind of talk about you and working with Brad Cox as well.
Yeah, I was a jock for a little while, and then kind of outgrew that position and got a little heavy there. So, got in, started working for Brad 2 years ago, and we sent me back up here, and it's been great. He's easy to work for, and really easygoing. Learned a lot, so it's thankful for the position. So
And you're kind of on your own. Brad doesn't come up here much besides Saratoga.
Right, yeah, we talk every day on the phone, right. But, he kind of threw the reins to me and trusted me with that. I don't know if that's a good decision or bad, but,
I'd say it's good!
It's been good. No, it's been great. So, he's, like I said, he just kind of threw the reins, and, if I have a problem, I call him, and he leads me in the right direction, so it's good.
Well, it's a great relationship and rapport. You've done a great job with his horses. Congrats here with Dream Passage.
Thank you, Meg.
All right, Greg.
Being trusted, given a lot of responsibility, and getting the job done with Dream Passage. Well done for that young man as we move on to race 7. Maiden special weight coming up, 7/8 of a mile, Spice Road. Kieran McLaughlin, Dylan Davis, Godolphin, and a son of Street Sense, the favorite.
I have mixed feelings about this horse. He was doing absolutely no running whatsoever for the first 6 furlongs of debut, and then he ran like he was shot out of a cannon in the last 16th to an 1/8 of a mile. Maybe he's a much more mature horse in the second start, and he gets himself a little closer. I don't know how good the race he comes out of was, though, and I think he's a dubious favorite.
And just when you think Gronk is done, he's back for more in this race, right?
Well, he's energized with a second-place finish in the Dubai World Cup, and now righteousness is back, the half to Gronkowski.
Yeah, well, Gronkowski retired as well, but...
No, he was second in the Dubai World Cup. Oh, the football player. Oh, I don't follow football. I look at the
There's
horses.
more sports than just horse racing.
He's named for a football player?
Back at Oaklawn, it was Sandy Sangria, $38 winner. How about this?
Yeah, congratulations. Speaking of Dubai, Euro Ears, the daughter of Euro Ears, the Evansville Slew Mare, Kiss me chocolate.
Race 5, 6 furlongs in a state-bred $8,000 claiming race. On Gale right now with Channing Hill, who will ride for Joe McKellar. Favorite in that outside slot, 2-time winner at Oaklawn.
If you pick the cold triple in this race, you get a new car.
Oof, right? This is a tough group. I mean, the 12's getting bet. The 9, She's Too Cool. Second time in the Asmussen barn. And here's a horse they claimed for 12.5 and then bumped up into a ridiculous level. And the horse actually did not get dismissed at the windows. Now drops back to where she belongs to 8,000. So I can understand where you're going. You see where Jonathan and Nancy have landed. Jonathan actually had his check mark on Dream Passage. He likes Dirty Dixie Road here for Paul Holtis, so maybe he's trying to suck up to Nancy.
What do you think about Dirty Dixie Road? Because that strong Indiana form and then has struggled at Oaklawn, but obviously dropping in class.
Well, I guess the Connections wish they hadn't waived the claim for 12.5 two back because they're running the horse for 8 today.
Yeah, right. But they protected her twice.
So that's the only thing I thought about this horse.
Yeah. They protected her twice, I guess, and they are dropping for 8. That's the thing you got to figure out, whether they're dropping the 5 for 8, which is the live horse. The 5's dropping.
I'm taking
the
the drop,
dropping.
the 8. Euro me. I'm taking the drop.
That's
the
another
8.
drop too. Yeah, the 8. Yeah.
I got.
Well, scratch.
I'm betting $1 to show. Oh wait, she wasn't.
Scratched.
When did she scratch?
Maybe that's why they're waiting around. Maybe she's.
I think she just scratched. 'Cause I swear I just looked at the board and she was 6-1. They probably heard I liked her.
Yeah, 6, 8, and 13.
No, but this is what the 8
Are
just
out.
I think came out. It was she was 6-1.
The Burl McBride horse, the 2, is taking a little money now. Came from way off the pace and broke slow, but that's how she runs most of her races.
You know, one of the many things I didn't think I would hear today was the Burl McBride horse.
She doesn't like Oaklawn though. That's not good for being an
It's not going to be good for today.
You're right.
He's having a nice meet.
Another track there.
No, no. Burl is. You know.
Burl is having a big meet. 11 first and seconds and 28 starts.
And
strong.
She's the horse that if this race falls apart, she's going to be showing up late.
And miraculously, Burl trains, and the trainer Tommy Ives outside of us, so it's almost Burl Ives.
Yeah.
I was going to go there.
Yeah.
Beat me to the punch.
Beat you there, Greg, didn't I?
Okay,
I
what
read
about
your mind.
the other horse in there was the 7, Miss Barham. I can't get there. Maybe the speed of the speed?
The 7? Yeah, she looks a little like.
Or is the 5 the speed of the speed?
The 5, 6, and 7 all has a 6 is out, so we'll see. Could be a bit of a battle.
Florida Bird, the 11, has a little bit of pace, but that horse is coming out of a longer race, so that speed might be dulled a bit, but is coming off the bench.
I'm just glad there was a little delay here so we had more time to talk about this race because I really had a lot to say here.
Hey, it's a good betting race.
It is. That it is.
Even
Big
with
field.
the scratches, it's wide open.
This one goes from Joseph R. Martin to William N. Martin. Is that a big change? Is there a family feud there?
I couldn't answer that for you.
Neither could I. But it's owned by the Martin brothers, so maybe not.
I thought the 9 was
Appropriate
interesting here. I missed that. What did he say?
It's the Martin.
These two have lost it. I've lost my 2 analysts. I'm flying solo here as we load up for the 5th at Oaklawn.
Where's Vic when you need him?
Aunt Gail will be our favorite here on the outside. Channing Hill. We used to call his name a lot here in New York.
Channing, fine rider. A lot of success in New York.
Out at Oaklawn now on a 6-year-old
I'm
mare.
going to say one of the most underrated front-end riders in all
He's a good
of
rider.
America. Yeah.
Good career. Good guy, too.
Well, this one does possess a little bit of pace. We'll see if she can get there. A lot of elder ladies in this spot. She's one of them. Big Stoffer with the call. Here's race 5 from Oaklawn. You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 and MSG+.
They're at the post. They're off. She's a Queen wins the break from inside gate. She's Undaunted away in second. Miss Barham and Dirty Dixie Road. Then Florida Bird and Seaside Surprise, followed by Cat's Honor and Aunt Gail. Then comes Jean's Beauty, and the trailer is She's Too Cool. Miss Barham puts ahead in front of She's a Queen. These two will match strides. Dirty Dixie Road shuffled back. Florida Bird's on the move, and there goes Florida Bird up into third. Then comes Seaside Surprise, followed by She's Undaunted. A gap of 4 to Cat's Honor and Aunt Gail. She's Too Cool has 7 lengths to make up. And then far back to Jean's Beauty as they round the far turn with Florida Bird about to clear off. Florida Bird to the quarter pole. A length and a half, make it 2, maybe 2.5 in front of She's Undaunted. She's Too Cool catches the eye. She's all the way up into third in the white cap, and She's Too Cool is on the move within 2.5 of the lead. Florida Bird, She's Undaunted. Cat's Honor and She's Too Cool, and here comes Cat's Honor to take over the lead. She's Too Cool is running up outside of Florida Bird. Cat's Honor leads. Florida Bird battles on. She's Too Cool not doing enough. Cat's Honor and Florida Bird. Cat's Honor in front. Cat's Honor won by a length and a half. Florida Bird was second. Very close for third between She's Too Cool and Aunt Gail.
Well, it is Cat's Honor, Burl McBride with the win, and I believe Aunt Gail snuck up for third.
Yeah, she did. You can see William De La Cruz just looking in the pink hat, weaving in and out, and right now, Katie by the door, you even said it, Andy, the race is over right here. And watch this horse on the way outside. Shadow swoops up for third. I don't know who it is. I don't know if somebody ran down the 9. She's Too Cool, but it gets very close. No doubt about second. The 11 horse does run second here, but somebody on the way outside.
Somebody
shows
far
up some
back
shadow.
gets the 9?
Yes. I think it's the 12. Watch if he pops.
12 is a chalk, right? Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Ooh, so it looks like 2:11:12, but it's Cat's Honor with the win. We're going to step aside, take a break in the action. Still to come, Code of Honor delivered on his connections, lofty expectations of him in the Fountain of Youth. Can he bring Hall of Famer Shug McGahee a second Kentucky Derby victory? We'll talk about his final Derby work next.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop arrives in 2019. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Greg Wolf, Paul LaDuca, Andy Serling with you, less than a week away from the Kentucky Derby under the Twin Spires. Continuing to talk a lot of these contenders putting in their final works, including Code of Honor for Hall of Famer Shug McGahee. He had not the start they wanted to his 3-year-old campaign, I should say, in the Mucho Macho Man. Shug kind of took responsibility for that. They said they went back to the drawing board, started working him more frequently, giving him a little bit more of a base. They got what they wanted in the Fountain of Youth.
Fast work. Listen, I've never wanted to be more wrong about a horse because I'd love to see Shug win another Derby. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either because this is not a Shug McGahee work. He doesn't work his horses in 46 and 4. I'm sorry, it's just not him. we would try to get more fitness out of this horse. I think this horse is going to be a better one-turn horse. He got a great trip when he did win his one of his prep races on a golden rail at Gulfstream Park. I think he's got a ton of quality, but this is just not a Shug McGahee move. This horse worked way too fast to be ready for the Derby, for me.
Are we confident he's even really going to be better going longer? I kind of agree with you, Paul. I wonder a little shorter. He's a nice horse. I don't want to knock him, and whatever he can do, Shug will get the best out of him.
Well, we
but I
heard
just
from
wonder if he's
Shug,
not
too,
good enough.
yesterday on the show, and he was pretty confident this horse is a horse who's going to get better a little bit later in his career. He's a late foal as well, but taking a shot, you got to get there. I mean, he has a win on the Fountain of Youth. You got to take a shot if you're there. Let's get Jonathan Kinchin's thoughts as well as we send it back to Lone Star.
What's going on, guys? A little bit of a dangerous move here in this cross-country pick 5. I love these bets. These cross-country bets are a ton of fun. I'm going to leave Chad Brown off the first ticket, a very dangerous thing to do, especially at Naira, anywhere in the world. I'm going to use the 3, the 4, and the 5. The 3, Spice Road, is a half to Avery Island. The 4, Meet Me in L.A., and then also the 5, who I thought Presto made a lot of sense in here. Lone Star's 6th race, 2, 3, 4. I'm spreading in Belmont's 8th. I think that the real exciting part of this ticket is probably my single in the last. I think that's where I'm taking a little bit of a stand in Belmont's 9th race. The horse that I'm going to single is the 6, Fire Key, closing into really slow fractions last time. I'm not crazy about cutback horses going 6 furlongs. I think this horse is going to get a little bit of pace to run into. 2 inside horses, I think, will go to the front. They've got 5 furlong turf speed. They should find a way to kind of heat this up a little bit. And then the 5 horse also is one that can get involved a little bit. I think Fire Key will come rolling late. It's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking if we can get alive to this race because he's going to be far back. But I think he'll come flashing down the middle and close out this pick 5 for us.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. So there is his ticket. It starts in the 7th race coming up cross-country. Pick 5 with races from Belmont and at Lone Star, including the Steve Sexton Mile and the license fee. Then we'll close it out here at Belmont Park, and that is where Jonathan will single. Got a pick 4 as well coming up here in the 7th at Belmont. You see 135,000 plus and growing in that pool. We're going to check in right now with Maggie Wolfendale.
Interesting race here, Greg, as we'll check out these maidens. I'm going to focus here on the paddock with horses who have run, some of which coming back for their second starts, which includes that half to Avery Island. In number 3, Spice Road was a bit green first time out, as I spoke to trainer Kieran McLaughlin, as he said, and he felt as though this guy might be a little closer, but don't count on it. He's not one that necessarily has that kind of gate speed. He looks tremendous here. I mean, he's really well muscled, and I think the 7 furlongs is probably an ideal type of distance, considering he doesn't have that quick speed away from there, but he also is built a little bit more like a sprinter, a little more typier, despite having the pedigree that he does. As of now, I think this is a good distance to stick with. Number 5 is Presto, who was well bet in his debut, but that does tend to go hand in hand with Todd Pletcher Firsters at Gulfstream Park. This guy goes an extra furlong, and he looks as though he should be quicker away from there. As those blinkers go on, just a short cut, really built downhill, big hindquarters to him, extremely well muscled and fit heading into this one. Look for him to show a bit more gate speed, I think, second time out. Number 7 is Fullness of Time. This one comes back off of a layoff, and he's fresh. Man, all these Chad Brown horses that are coming off layoffs today have been on their toes and very keen in the paddock. And actually, he looks more fit than what he ever did last year as a 2-year-old. And this guy is actually a half to a horse that my husband trained that I absolutely loved. Unfortunately, he had a terrible breathing issue and never really went on. But I'm very interested in this horse today. I've liked him, and I like the way he comes back here to make his 3-year-old debut. Greg?
All right, thank you, Maggie. Fullness of Time. He's a half to Bobby Abu Dhabi, who won over $350,000 in his career sprinting. 4-1 on the board right now. Maggie likes what she sees from the son of Flatter coming off the bench for his 3-year-old return.
You know, his first race, I thought it was an impressive race because he was down the inside a day you didn't want to be on the rail at Saratoga, and that was Whitney Day. And Mucho looked so impressive. Now, Mucho hasn't gone on and done as well as we thought he would since that race. He was just a distant second last time to a nice horse in Aurelius Maximus, who I think finished 4th in the Champagne his next start. I'm having mixed feelings, but his first race was good enough to say maybe he can improve as a 3-year-old.
Here's the first timer for Chad Brown looking at roses. Jose Ortiz will be aboard there. We have our post parade coming up. We hear the call to post in the distance. Dr. Albert. Long shot will kick things off for James Ferraro, start number 2.
Well, long shot for a reason. He flashed speed against Lesser in his debut before fading.
Tis Morning, the 2. This will be start number 12, trained by Edmund Davis.
You know, this horse throwing up some decent numbers, and 3 starts ago lost by a dirty nose. 0 for 11 lifetime.
Here's the full brother to Avery Island for Kieran McLaughlin, son of Street Sense, Spice Road.
We'll see if he's more mature in his second start. He came flying last time, but how good was that race?
Jimmy Jerkin's first time starter, Meet Me in L.A., Manny Franco rides.
Yes, the son of Awesome again. And usually Jimmy takes his time, and that's why you're seeing 21-1.
Presto for Todd Pletcher. Blinkers go on for start number 2.
Was bet off the board in his debut at Gulfstream and eliminated after the break.
The half to Gronkowski. Righteousness sent out by Christophe Clement, his first start.
Yeah, he'll debut with Lasix 8-1, and Christophe can get one ready. He's better than you think first time out.
Start number 3 for Chad Brown's Fullness of Time as he makes his 3-year-old return to the races.
If he can make that routine improvement from 2 to 3, he could win this race for sure.
We'll jump the 8, skip to the 9, I believe. Yeah, we do. Here's Dark Storm, the firster for George Weaver, son of Claiborne sire Flatter.
Sold a 2-year-old sale a year ago with an unimpressive 22 flat work, but George Weaver's a dangerous trainer.
And another Chad Brown runner here for the Ramseys. First-time starter by Looking at Lucky, Looking at Roses.
Very rarely we see Jose Ortiz and Chad Brown not taking money, but this horse has got a tremendous bottom side of the pedigree.
Going to take a break in the action. Still ahead on America's Day at the Races. Fire Key. Already a stakes winner on the Belmont Inner Turf Course, looking for their first win of 2019. We'll get to that in a little bit. And, of course, race 7 to kick off this late pick 4 here at Belmont. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Summer Cruz is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. The plans with this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With yearlings bringing up to $650,000 and his first crop of 2-year-olds hitting the track, the sky's the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Of a mile to go. American Pharaoh's got a 2-length lead. Frosted is all out at the 16th pole. And here it is. The 37-year wait is over. American Pharaoh is finally the one. American Pharaoh has won the Triple Crown.
What a call by Larry Colmus. Who could forget it? And look at this. This is pretty neat. Colmus tweets out, I'm excited to announce Zayat Stables have officially named this great-looking 2-year-old colt by American Pharoah, the Triple Crown winner. Finally the one after his call and that ending of the 37-year drought. Thanks, Justin Zayat, for this cool tribute to my call of the Triple Crown winner. It's going to be fun to watch these offspring, and he's gotten off as a sire to a tremendous start.
Yes. Well, listen, when you're a champion like he is, and he was bred to be a champion, and it just shows you Bob Baffert's runners turn out to be good sires, too, as well. So, yeah, he's gotten off to a good start, and his horses are running on both surfaces.
Yeah, they are, for sure. I believe Leslie Ward, first U.S. winner with American Pharoah, but wasn't able to get the first overall. That happened overseas for Aiden O'Brien. We have the 7th coming up here at Belmont. Again, it kicks off this cross-country Pick 5. Jonathan Kinchin put together a cross-country Pick 5 ticket as we get set for the start of this sequence coming up. Before they load up here for race 7, let's check in again with Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, guys. And I haven't touched on any of the first-time starters as there are 4 here in this field. We'll take a look, though, at Righteousness, the one who is taking the most money, as you guys had said, half to Gronkowski. And honestly, he looks as though he's the most well-prepared of the bunch, of the firsters. He's really fit, really well-defined. He's not that big, heavy type of horse that Gronkowski was. He's actually a little bit lighter on his feet, a little bit more defined overall. And I like what I'm seeing from him. The only thing was he was entered as an MTO yesterday in a maiden special weight that stayed on the turf. Meet Me in LA is the longest price, but I like this guy's works. I watched him. I like the way he moves. He might want more distance. Then again, he might want another surface as the dam side of the family is much more synthetic and turf, but big, good looking. Probably will need to start, was a bit green. And then Spice Road, as I said, I didn't think he'd show that much more speed, but boy, guys, he got this energetic warm-up. He was bucking and kicking up his heels as he broke away from the pony beneath Dylan Davis, and he got about a 15-second eighth of a mile in, though, so that's about a 2-minute lick. So he really got a big warm-up as he's acting up a little bit behind the gate right now, Greg.
All right, Maggie, there he is. Spice Road the 3, so got a little extra pep in his step after that move to the gate.
Yeah, well, that was his undoing last time, right? He didn't get out of the gate good, and he came home like a freight train. Sometimes those horses can fool you, and I would think that Dylan's probably hoping, and you can see he's acting up a tiny bit in the gate. Like, he's probably hoping maybe we can back him out and load him last so he doesn't have to stand in there too long.
He is in the gate. Spice Road comes up. There's Fullness of Time. Looking at Roses is the next one to step forward. And Dark Storm to take up position in the outside stall. They're all in line. They're off. Meet Me in LA, slow out of the gate. It's Tis Morning and Presto on the outside, out for the lead together. Spice Road between those two, and Dr. Albert from the inside away running in 4th. Fullness of Time is 5th and moving on the outside. Then Righteousness going up in between horses. Toward the inside, Meet Me in LA is next. And then it's Dark Storm and Looking at Roses. Up the backstretch, Tis Morning and Presto. Locked in battle, 22.87 the opening quarter mile. Spice Road is 3rd just to the outside of them. Fullness of Time is going up on the outside, 4 wide on the turn. Then it's Dr. Albert, Righteousness alongside, followed by Dark Storm. Meet Me in LA in a 5-length gap. Back to Looking at Roses, who has lost contact with the field at this point. Around the far turn. Presto on the outside of Tis Morning. 45.68 was the half. Spice Road is 3rd. Fullness of Time 4th on the outside. Dr. Albert is riding the rail. Then Meet Me in LA, followed by Righteousness on the outside. They're into the stretch. And it's Presto and Tis Morning. Presto on the outside. Tis Morning down at the rail. Dead game and in a tight spot here with a furlong to run. Tis Morning just keeps on fighting. Inside of Presto. These two matching strides. Spice Road is 3rd. Presto. Tis Morning won't go away. Tis Morning and Presto. Heads are up and down as they come down to the wire. Tis Morning, oh, he was so game. Tis Morning beat Presto. And then it was Spice Road followed by Meet Me in LA and Dark Storm.
You do not see that happen a whole lot. A horse down on the inside, that's where you can get intimidated quite a bit. Battle back, get the win. Tis Morning does so in start number 12, Paul.
Yeah, and what a great ride here by Junior Alvarado. Staying left-handed, he gets a double on the card, and nothing against Edmund Davis, but very rarely are you going to say Edmund Davis just outfinished Todd Pletcher, and that's what just happened right now on this Belmont race number 7, and you're going to get a 7-1. This horse has been knocking on the door. Like I said, 2 starts ago or 3 starts ago, should have won that race, lost on a dirty bob, and was really game. Great call by Larry Colmus at the end because he was dead right about Tis Morning, showed all of his heart.
And just shows you why this game could be so great. Presto, a horse for the powerful Rapoli stable, St. Elias stable, spent $290,000 on the horse to the outside. Tis Morning on the inside went for $13,000 at auction.
Yeah, it just shows you don't need to pay much to get heart or get some talent. And obviously, Tis Morning showed what he was made of today. And you can see the 3 trying his hardest. Your second choice, your favorite, but he was never going to run down these 2 horses who put on an absolute show. This is a great race here to start off your late pick 3.
7-1.
Oh.
There's Edmund Davis, Robbie Davis's son, getting the victory.
That's awesome stuff, man.
We had Robbie on a horse earlier today.
I know, right?
Back in action in the saddle. So Tis Morning, the only thing I would think, if you like this horse, is you probably deserved a little bit more than 7-1 after making now his 12th career start.
Yeah, maybe you did. I think a lot of people fell in love with the 3, like myself, the 7. And Presto obviously was even money first time out and didn't fire today, but Tis Morning just showed a little bit more heart.
2, 5, 3, 4, gutsy effort from the 4-year-old son of Morning Line, getting the job done on the inside up the fence, had to battle Presto every step of the way to the wire, and finishes in front for the maiden breaker. Back with prices right after this. We'll move along to the 8th, and still to come, we will get you out to Lone Star Park in Grand Prairie, Texas. Check back in with Jonathan Kinchin, Steve Sexton, Miles still to come.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
This one is by Tappet and is a brilliant Grade 1 winner.
Elliott, of course you're talking about Constitution. He was a TD and Rising Star in his debut. He became an undefeated Grade 1 winner when he won the Florida Derby in his 3rd start. And in the Don Handicap as a 4-year-old, he ran a 111 Buyer speed figure, which is still the fastest Tappet around 2 turns.
And don't forget about his allowance race when he beat Wicked Strong and Tunnelist. His first 2-year-olds have every right to be fast.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearly manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Run Happies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the races, Tis Morning in a very gutsy effort in a duel down the stretch with Presto for Todd Pletcher. But it's Edmund Davis and Junior Alvarado who get the win.
Yeah, congratulations, son of Morning Line. Have the Way of Light mare, lights out, and finally gets the job done in start number 12. Congratulations to Junior Alvarado and Edmund Davis. This is going to play big in your Naira late pick 5. Pick 4 as well to start it off, and you see that pick 3 was pretty good too, $412 even.
First win of the year for that barn too, so that is tremendous to see. Of course, brother to Dylan Davis as well. As we take a look at the Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along, $85,000 in that pool. Dream Passage in that first leg, and that was beating an odds-on favorite, and I think it's going to play a lot bigger than 7-1.
Yes, it is. It's a $200 double, so yeah, you're going to get your value. Now you just need to get it home.
All right, we're going to check in at Oaklawn. Race 6 is coming up. Starter optional claiming race here in the 6th. Curlin Road favored here. 1/16 the distance coming up. And we're going to check in with Nancy Holthus.
Thanks so much, Greg. Well, Steve Asmussen and Ricardo Santana already have a win on the afternoon. They're hoping to make their second one here in race 6 with the number 5 Curlin Road. The 6-year-old does debut for the barn, as the barn is very successful when doing so. It was off a third-place finish, beaten only a neck against restricted $20,000 runners. It was over the slop, probably didn't care for it that much. That was also the local debut. Now, certainly has back class, a graded stakes winner, and the barn is also successful when stepping horses up. Now, I like the fact that it is a fast surface today, and this horse is dappled out from head to toe and should definitely appreciate the distance. Freddie Villafranco has an entry in here. Going to focus on the plain one, Giant Influence. We'll be breaking from post number 4. Does exit a second against $25,000 runners at today's distance. Pressed the pace throughout. It was a very solid debut off the $30,000 claim. Now, he's run very well in his 2 starts at the meet since getting the addition of blinkers, and definitely looks to move forward in his 3rd start off of the break. Looks like we're loading in the gate for race 6. We'll throw it back to you.
Nancy, thanks. Here's part of the entry about to load up. In the entry, Paul's favored right now, 9-5. Sol Pise just missed by a nose last out, who we're looking at right now.
Yeah, look for him to be the speed, and the one Giant Influence who does have a little bit of pace to just be a little bit off of it. Stalking in here. There are some horses that can go to the front, but there's a lot of horses here that have some finish. This is a tremendous field. You can make a case for 5 or 6 of these. The couple horses on the outside, the 8 Sandavi, maybe not. But even the 7, Whole Lot of Luck, I could see hitting the board here if this race fell apart.
Well, both halves of the entry, you can make a case for either half, and that's why you're getting 9-5. And our colleague Tom Amos, one of his old horses here, All About Ashley, used to be in his barn. Now with John Ortiz, been claimed quite a bit over the last few months, coming off a victory last time, out 10-1 on the 4.
And if you look at him, as he's gotten a little bit older, he's changed his running style. He used to be sort of a front runner with Tom, sort of backed up now, and has been a horse that sort of runs from behind, and maybe that's what you're going to need in this field of 8 or, 9 with the entry. But yeah, he seems like he's in good form. He's got a win in a couple seconds in his last 4 starts. I don't know what we're waiting for here. As we're waiting for 1 to load. As you can see, the 1A. Maybe the speed of the speed here. I'm getting ready to get this going.
Yeah, no secret what Sol Pise wants to do here with Ramon Vasquez. Very quick runner. And a very good chance. You said probably the speed of the speed. Where's the widget? The 3, I guess the other one who wants to show some speed. Usually not always out in front, but was last time here in the return to Oaklawn for the 3.
Yeah, and then you got to go to the 8s and dive. I know the horse is 47-1, but been sprinting, so you're hoping, at least for if you bet a closer in here, you're hoping for the 8 to go. Because if the 1A is let on the lead alone with reasonable fractions, he's going to be ultra tough.
And we just saw the 5 go in for Steve Asmussen, just claim this horse. This horse was in the Pacific Classic just 2 years ago. Ran 4th in that race behind Collected. How time changes things. Yeah. Vic Stauffer with the call. Here's race 6. Wide open group here at Oaklawn.
They're at the post. They're off. Hardly a Secret broke very well from Sol Pise. Where's the widget moves through at the rail. Then comes a hard scent, All About Ashley, and All About Ashley's trying to get up to the front. Giant Influence just in behind his stablemate. Then comes a Curlin Road, followed by Whole Lot of Luck, and at the back of the pack are Bubba's Dixie and Sadavi. Sol Pise, the leader to the backstretch, is just a half length, now less than that, because Where's the Widget and All About Ashley are going to come alongside to challenge. Giant Influence gets the best trip. He watches those 3 trade punches, and Giant Influence is 4th. He wants to go up and challenge, though, and Jock wants him to sit right where he is, a length and a half off the lead. Then comes Hardly a Secret, 4 back to Curlin Road. He's got about 6 lengths to make up. He's 2.5 in front of Whole Lot of Luck and Bubba's Dixie, and Sadavi is the trailer, and Sol Pise is the leader. Sol Pise into the far turn, now a length and a half in front of Where's the Widget in second. Hardly a Secret moves through and takes over third, and Hardly a Secret could get into second soon, and there he goes. Here's Hardly a Secret moving nicely. Giant Influence about to take third. Curlin Road begins to unwind, but he's about 5 from the front. Sol Pise about to be challenged by Hardly a Secret at the top of the stretch. Sol Pise ahead in front. Hardly a Secret on a full-fledged attack now. Those two are 4 lengths clear of Giant Influence, and Hardly a Secret has taken charge. Hardly a Secret past mid-stretch. Now 3 lengths in front of Sol Pise. Curlin Road has just moved up to try to get second, but Hardly a Secret is clear, and he's 5 in front. Curlin Road just got second. Hardly a Secret in front. Hardly a Secret won by 4. Curlin Road was second. Giant Influence might have been third over Bubba's Dixie and Sol Pise.
Easy peasy for Hardly a Secret. And you mentioned to me off air here what a great trip this horse was getting.
Yeah, getting a great trip. And I think that's a hat trick for Willie De La Cruz, who was just looking for room on the rail and looked like a winner the whole way around the racetrack.
Meanwhile, back here at Belmont, cross country, pick 5. It is underway this morning in a spirited battle down the stretch, getting the win for trainer Edmund Davis. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
And it truly was a sight to see here. Eddie Davis picking up his first win, guys, with tis morning. Your mom came down, your dad, Robbie Davis, came down. Eddie, how's it feel to get your first win as a trainer?
You know, it feels really good. You know, a lot of hard work and time in the barn. You know, it seemed to pay off today. You know, so it felt great. You know.
And actually beating one of your former employers, Jimmy Jerkins. Talk a little bit about how you've come up through the racetrack.
Yeah, you know what? I graduated high school from Saratoga High School in 2008, and but as a kid, my dad was a jockey growing up, so I was the one like running home from school, trying to catch the races, and then trying to hop in the car with my dad to come to the racetrack and stuff. So I always had a love for the horses, and after high school, I chose the path of the racetrack. You know, so I started with that, and then I started freelancing. My dad taught me how to ride. He won about a little over 3,000 races, and then I hopped on board with Jimmy Jerkins, and he's a great horseman. I look up to him and respect him and what he does with horses. He's truly hands-on, and I respect him, above and beyond, with how he handles his horses, But I was lucky enough to work under him for about 2 years, and kind of get a handle on how the training gig goes, So my dad taught me how to ride. Yeah. And I got up in the morning, which was what I was getting at, and Jimmy taught me how to train. So I try to use that combo and, and try to move forward and do the best thing and the right thing by the horses.
Well, that you did, and tis morning you showed some guts there on the rail. Eddie, congratulations, your first win as a trainer.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Hopefully more to come too.
I'm sure there will, guys. Eddie Davis, I don't think it's actually set in. He's just kind of in that surreal mode right now that he got his first winner.
Cool customer right there, the thumbs up, and yeah, many more to come for that young man.
Yeah, listen, he got his first win, and everybody's praising him, and
that's his dad right there saying, "Well done, young man."
Yeah,
Robbie Davis,
and he was on national TV with good-looking hair.
He's got great hair, and it's all in the family, the Davis family. You got to go into horse racing if you come from that group. We'll be back with more Lone Star next.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast, a multiple Grade 1 winner and runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July Seal with a $520,000 yearling. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Run Happy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Run Happy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we've had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the races in a live look in Grand Prairie, Texas, and Lone Star Park. Going to bring you race 6, 5 furlongs on the turf, $20,000 maiden claiming event. Quite a few scratches in this race as well. The 5, 6, 9, 11, and 12, they're all coming out in this spot. And right now, favored is the 4. That's Mighty Merle, Steve Asmussen, Richard Aramia, and a horse who actually debuted on the main track at Sam Houston. Put in a decent run, but was a beaten favorite on that occasion. Son of Verrazano will be making start number 2 coming up. So that horse taking all the play right now. And next door, you also have Time to Stroll, who's had a couple of tries on turf. Blinkers go on today.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that this Steve Asmussen, this is where he started. Cash Asmussen. A lot of the Asmussens, they were the Texas crew for a long time, Gary. So they're very familiar with Lone Star. And I would think this horse dropping down at 20 is going to be ultra tough.
By the way, Gary Stevens rejoins us on set. Hi, Gary.
Well, thank you. Yeah, snuck in the back door. Good to be back. Got warmed up. Came out of the bullpen, Polly. The Asmussen boys, yeah, they know all about Texas racing. Keep stables all over the place. He knows where those horses fit, and obviously this one fits here.
Yeah, this one for Toby Keith, our good friend.
Yeah, Dream Walking Farms, the 4-horse for Toby Keith there. And also, you know, the 8's taking some plays. Well, that's a first-time starter in here. That's for Joe Sharp. Discreet Cherokee. So a Discreet Cat out of a Cherokee run mare in Lasix for the first start.
And this Discreet Cat, you know, usually they're very, very precocious. You get Joe Sharp, very good trainer. And when he debuts maiden claimers, he's 20%. You want to look for that. But look for his turf sprints. 91 horse sample. That's pretty good at 33%.
Yeah, not too bad. And his jock Adam Basisha in to ride the stake here today, and he's a very good rider. He's come over from Europe and really made a name for himself over the last couple of years. He's got 56 wins on the year. Had a really good meet at in New Orleans at the fairgrounds this winter, and he continues to thrive.
Well, you saw Jonathan's selection. He's going to go with Mighty Merle. That is the 4 here in this spot. Am I crazy to think the 7 might have a look here? Dropping out of maiden special, I know it was at Sam Houston, but showed some speed against that level. Now drops in for a tag for the first time.
I'd never say you're crazy, but you're crazy.
Maybe a little nuts.
23-1 on Cowboy Ridge, the 7. That's for the Ronald Cotera barn. Couple left to move in line. Race 6 from Lone Star Park. 5 furlongs on the turf. Here we go.
Discreet Cherokee led forward next. Steps on in, and now Texas Wit, the last to load. They're in the gate. And they're off. And the first-time starter, Discreet Cherokee, was away slowly. The speedster, Kiss the Moose on the inside out fast. Time to Stroll is right there as well. Splitting those two is Major Shipman, then a length and a half to Mighty Merle, followed by Cowboy Ridge to the outside in 5th. Then Discreet Cherokee right on the inside. Texas Wit is trailing the field as they advance into the far turn. A 3-way battle. Major Shipman emerges with the lead here to Time to Stroll on the outside. Kiss the Moose is having trouble going with them. And then comes Cowboy Ridge in 4th. Mighty Merle splits rivals in 5th. Then a length and a half to Discreet Cherokee, and the trailer is Texas Wit as they move off the turn and into the stretch. Time to Stroll is up to get on by Major Shipman. It's Time to Stroll with a narrow lead. Major Shipman trying to come back again on the inside, and these two will duel. Mighty Merle is racing in 3rd position as they come to the finish. Time to Stroll gaining the upper hand here. Sasha Reisenhoover and Time to Stroll will take it to Major Shipman. Mighty Merle was 3rd, and Texas Wit from the back end up for 4th.
Jim Byers with the call there. It's Time to Stroll. Sasha Reisenhoover with the victory here. Blinker's going on today.
Blinker's going on, and they probably helped because she had her hands full. The last 16th of a mile, the horse still a little bit green, wanting to lug in right here. She goes left-handed, ducks out a little bit from the stick, and just wandering around, not really paying attention. And finally, when the 2-horse comes back at her right here, then reignites the fire there and gets the job done.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the first time started the 8 just had a horrendous trip to Screech Cherokee. I know, I mean, if you're like one of those trip note players, take a look at that horse next time that horse runs, because he had a ton of trouble, and he was just trying to run up hills in the backstretch. He hopped up in the air, and he still tried to finish with some interest.
Yeah, just blew the brake, and then got the trouble around the turn and fired at the end.
All right, so we'll bring you the prices from that race. Of course, the Grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile. That is coming up next. We'll check back in with Jonathan Kinchin as we get closer to that race coming up. But back here in Belmont, New York, we have the 8th coming up. And New York Breds, entry-level allowance. 6 furlongs in here. And right now, She's Trouble, 8-5 favorite in here. Linda Rice, Jose Ortiz, Lady Sheila Stable. Taking heavy support at 8-5 as we check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
And guys, I just have a quick note here. There'll be a late scratch of number 9. She was a big price, Crying in the Moonlight. She flipped over. You can see she's covered in dirt. So she flipped over when they came on the walking ring here. So she'll be a late scratch and won't participate here in race number 8. Guys.
All right, Maggie, thank you for that. And it does take out, you know, a filly who's going to show some speed in there, so pace-wise, it may change things.
Well, you know, everything upon the equine health, that's the first thing that's of importance. And you can tell at least she was walking fine. You can see the dirt on the side of her, like Maggie was saying, but walking okay. It looked like she's going to be fine. We'll live to fight another day as the horses are getting ready, and Larry's just announcing that she is scratched, so the odds will change here a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's going to benefit is Miss Hotstones, because she had some cheap speed Crying in the Moonlight, and was going to probably put some extra pressure on Miss Hotstones, and now Rajiv Mirage is going to be able to be a little bit more tactical without that outside speed.
Yeah, Miss Hotstone's breaking out of post 8. She's at 3-1 on the board, and now looks like she might be able to control things here in this race, especially as well with the 4 coming out earlier, Jaws Malibu. So
the other problem in it is too is that She's Trouble, the 7. I get it, she's a contender, but she breaks flat-footed every single race. You just don't get any speed out of her.
Yeah, and the odds are showing that right now. Dropped down to 8-5. Yeah.
Post spread coming up here in just a moment for this 8th race. So 8-5 on She's Trouble, but maybe took a long look here at the 8 Miss Hotstones with that late scratch. Here's Forever Daisy to kick off our post-parade. Manny Franco aboard for Rudy Rodriguez off the claim.
Yeah, first time in Rudy's barn. He already has a win on the card, and usually that's very dangerous, but this filly's going to have to move up a lot today.
Gary Siaka sends out Gentle Annie coming off a win.
Yeah, coming off a nice win. They dropped her down to the claiming level, and maybe it'll give her a little confidence for today.
Exceed the goal. She was just in for 14,000 home winners of 3, and she aired in that race.
I tell you, I like the way she won last time out. And David Dung is probably one of the most underrated trainers out here in New York.
How about this win streak for Not About the Nails, put together 3 in a row.
Yeah, and, you know, claim for 10,000, and good job by Eddie Barker, what he's done with this mare by the Fleet Express. Seems like she's gotten better at age 7.
Yeah, including a stake for 44,000 last start. She's Trouble. Here's the favorite.
Yeah, again, like you're taking 7-5 on this gray, and she has gate trouble, so do it with your own peril.
And here's the one that's going to be the one to catch on the front end here, Rajiv Mirage on Miss Hotstones.
Yeah, Gary's right. You know, the benefit of the 9 being scratched out of here helps the 8, because this filly of Bustin' Stones, just like her daddy, is going to be fast early.
That is your field for the 8th year coming up. So let's take a look at Miss Hotstones, who should be leading the way here in this spot. She has hit the board in 5 of her 6 career outings.
Yeah, She's Trouble, Miss Hotstones. She gets a perfect setup here. Comes into the stretch on the outside here. Gonna make her run, and comes home very strong. Just kind of a steady run, but comes home good enough, and nice race from her.
Yeah, she's just got a lot of class. Now the thing about her is now she's had her 2 races off the long layoff. She had such a really long layoff.
Year and a half.
Yeah, and you know, maybe now she's fit and ready to go, and if she can get loose on the lead here and get in front and get brave, I'm surprised she's not the favorite. I really am, especially with the scratch of the 9, because when you look at the 7, She's Trouble. I see that win by 5 lengths. It's over a sloppy racetrack. I see a lot of stakes races. but all I see is nothing. She got beat by the 8 last time.
No, I was just going to say, she's probably going to wind up becoming the favorite. It looks like you look at the will pace here coming up. As we look at the 7 here, she's trouble. So here's the Linda Rice runner. Jose Ortiz taking over for Irad, who's been the regular pilot aboard this filly.
Maybe get more speed out of her or get her out of the gate?
As you mentioned, that's the big issue, getting out of the gate.
You know what? I used to tell people, I'd go out in the paddock and they'd say, this horse needs help out of the gate, got to get out of the gate. And I'd look at them and say, you know, I weigh 112 pounds, and if an 1,100-pound horse doesn't want to leave the starting gate, I can't make him.
Yeah, right?
And this filly, she doesn't have the type of early speed, but I think what could happen is Rajiv could try and slow things down so he's got something left to finish with, and that could put Jose closer with She's Trouble, and that could make the difference there.
Well, here's Not About the Nail, trying to win 4 straight, and what a cool story. 7-year-old mare, she's won 10 times. This was back on March 30th, and this was a stakes win for $44,000 at Aqueduct.
Yeah, and she did it with ease. And if you go back and you look at her PP, she had gone back in December 23rd, and she had won for 12.5. They probably ran her over her head. And then Eduardo Jones put her where she needed to be for 10,000. Eddie Barker took her, and now she's starting to take off and getting more and more confidence.
Why is she so dead on the board right now?
I think the lack of speed in the race, she doesn't have really any speed at all, going 7/8 of a mile or a mile. She's far out of it, so she's going to have a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah. She was 3-1 morning line. She is 9-2 right now. She'll be the 6th. Not About the Nail. 7-year-old mare by a Fleet Express. Fans enjoying opening weekend here at the Belmont Spring Meet. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, guys. And horses warming up out on the track. One that was maybe slightly obstreperous in the paddock, though, was number 8, Miss Hotstone. She was actually brought over with the pony. I think she just was feeling so good and was a little bit hard to handle for her groom. But she calmed down once they got the tackle on, which I like. I like when horses do that. Now, she's 3rd off of that extended layoff here for Bruce Levine, and she's a filly that, at least in her last 2, has been close to the pace. We'll see where she is early on today, but like I said, she's feeling good as she just clicked to favoritism here, and she looks the part as well. So I'm going to land on her, too, and I like the fact she's kind of let out that energy on track and looks good and comfortable out there as well. Now, one that's a bit of a price, actually 6 to 1's not that big of a price. It's lower than I thought she would be, but it's number 3, Exceed the Goal. Dave Duggan, with the limited number of horses he has, does an excellent job, and it's reflective in the way that they look physically. And Exceed the Goal is just carrying herself with utter confidence. She's carrying that great flesh to her as well, and she had a huge win last time. It was a big step up. Now, it is a little bit of a step up, I'd say, into this allowance company, but it's that entry-level state bred. So sometimes it's not as tough as jumping into an open claimer, because you see that she ran for 14 non-3 life last time. So sometimes if she jumped into her 16 open, it would be a little bit more tough than this entry-level allowance for the state bred. Greg?
All right, thank you, Maggie. You see prices there from Lone Star, Time to Stroll, returning $5, 3-2-4 finish. And, of course, the Grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile coming up next. And we'll get you back out to Lone Star with Jonathan Kinchin in just a little bit for that. Loading up, though, right now at Belmont, Forever Daisy steps in line with Manny Franco. But we'll see if Rajiv Mirage, Miss Hotstones, 3rd off the long layoff here, able to steal this race on the front end. Larry Colmus, the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, with the call, and Miss Hotstones, the 8 is your favorite at 8-5 from Post 8. Here's Larry.
And here She's Trouble moving into the starting gate. And Miss Hotstones will be the last one. Completing the line here, Miss Hotstones goes in. They're all in line. They're off, Miss Hotstones. Sharp from the beginning, right to the front. Forever Daisy is away running in 2nd on the inside and will yield that top spot. And then it's She's Trouble in 3rd. These 3 tightly packed, break of another 2.5 more to Exceed the Goal on the outside of Gentle Annie. And the trailer is Not About the Nail, racing for the far turn. With Miss Hotstones the leader, 3/4 of a length. On the outside, She's Trouble is 2nd through a 23.33 opening quarter mile. Forever Daisy is third in behind the leaders, just a bit headstrong here. On the far outside, Not About the Nail goes up. Then Exceed the Goal between those two. And Gentle Annie is at the rear of the field as Miss Hot Stones leads them along toward the top of the stretch. She's Trouble is second as they turn for home. Miss Hot Stones in the clear, a length and a half to She's Trouble. And on the outside, Forever Daisy third, tries to close in with 1 furlong to run. Miss Hot Stones and Rajiv Mirage have opened up 2.5. She's Trouble is second, and then comes Forever Daisy as they come down to the line. Miss Hot Stones, sharp in victory here, finishing strong in the end. And then it was She's Trouble second, a photo for third, Forever Daisy, and Not About the Nail.
Well, she might have won anyway in this race, but certainly helped Miss Hot Stone's chances with that late scratch of the 9. Left her as the only speed in the race, and Rajiv Mirage had to be licking his chops.
Yeah, Crying in the Moonlight, with her coming out, she was actually ran against her and set the pace in that race on April 5th. And so I'm not saying that she wouldn't have won, but it definitely helped Rajiv. He was able to get over and slow the pace down. Nobody could go after him because they weren't. Their horses didn't have enough speed to attack him, and he nursed her along until the quarter pole and just won at will.
Yeah, he did. I mean, you know, Jose did a good job with She's Trouble. She broke actually good today. The one, you know, when you get caught in that position, Manuel Franco, he didn't know what to do. To get up inside Miss Hot Stones, then he blows his race if he duels with her. And the one actually ran okay to run third in this race, but no doubt about it. He hit the nail on the head. She finished up in 11 and change here, too.
About less than a 16th of a mile away from the starting gate. Rajiv, he had angled over towards the rail, and he turned his head sideways, and he looked at that one horse, and that's kind of like turning your signal light on, that I'm coming over, so you best get out of there.
Yeah. How do you feel as a jockey, too, when you hear that announcement of the other speed being scratched out of a race? What are you thinking? And you're the primary speed left.
Well, you're happy, and if you're another jockey, believe me, everybody's handicapped that race in the jocks room. They know who the speed horses are. They knew there was only 2 speed horses in there, so all of the jockeys in the race know what the effect is going to be, and you've got to play accordingly if you can.
Rajiv Mirage takes advantage, wins for Roddy Valente and Bruce Levine. There's Roddy. Miss Hot Stones getting a victory. Daughter of Bustin' Stones picks up the 2nd win of her career. Picture time for these connections. We're going to take a break in the action. Our feature race at Belmont is next. It is the license fee and Broadway Run returns for her 4-year-old debut next.
Eclipse champion Blame was considered by many as the breakout stallion of 2018. His top runners included Grade 1 winner and Eclipse Award finalist Marley's Freedom, plus Grade 1 winner Fault and graded stakes winners Moreau, Beyond Blame, Miss Kentucky, and Blamed. His yearling sold up to $500,000, and his sensational daughter Fault brought $1.2 million at the November sale. Outstanding results, outstanding value. Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at NairaBets.com.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures, and there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guys winning the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Little drama brewing here back at Belmont. We have an objection involving your winner, and it happened early on in the race out of the gate as Rajiv Mirage and Miss Hot Stones came over, and the 6 has lobbed the objection. Sam Camacho Jr. on Not About the Nail.
Kind of a chain reaction here, and you see Mirage come over. He starts to angle over. He's not clear of the 7 horse, forcing the 7 into the 6, but it was nothing. They've already announced no change.
All right, so that was short-lived. You saw, and as you mentioned, you saw Rajiv looking over.
Yeah, he had the signal light on, but he's going to get some words when he gets back in the jocks room.
What happens when something like that happens between jockeys?
Back in the jocks room?
Yeah.
They let it be known that he came over a little quick, and he did come over a little quick, and the stewards are going to call him up and probably make him see the films tomorrow and say, Kendrick, Rajiv, you came over a little quick. Don't do that anymore. And he will the next race.
Okay. 8-7-1-6. The result will stand. Even money.
Thank you, guys, as we are here with Roddy Valente. A little bit of drama, Roddy, but easily dismissed as we watch the head-on. But Miss Hot Stones, patience. You're always patient with your horses. She's come back off a long layoff, 3rd off the break now. And we were talking before she came out to the track. She was just ready.
Meg, if there's ever a horse that talks to you, she talks to you. And for some reason, it's like, you know, Bruce was light on her because we've had problems with her. You know, she's had 16 months off between the layoff, and he didn't want to really press her. But today, if you ever seen a filly that was talking to you, she was ready, and she was on go. And I actually, when she breezed this week, week out, she let us know that she was on go. So, you know, you got to let horses talk to you, and she talked to us.
And it's so cool for you, I'm sure, to watch the progeny of Bustin' Stones. I mean, they're so competitive in these New York bred races especially.
Meg, it's like, I always say this to my family members. It's like watching one of your children or one of your grandchildren go out and play ball now because I'm so old. But I'm okay with that. But it's like every time you go, and whether they're something that is one of ours or it's one that was bred to him, we really follow him. We love him. And I think he's a great blue-collar stallion, and he's made a great mark in New York.
You don't have to convince me of that. He truly is. But, guys, can we get a close-up really quick on these shoes of Roddy? Matt, my cameraman. Roddy just got back from Florida, as you can tell, with his tan. Roddy, you're not dressed for New York weather.
I would only hope that my wife is watching, because she says, Rod, you got to, like, raise your pants a little bit so you can show a little bit of your tan. But that's just my wife speaking. Leave me alone.
Oh, well, Roddy Valente, guys, truly one of the best. We love having him here in New York.
That is a sharp-dressed man right there. This is a homebred that wins for him as well.
Socks? Talking about socks? Don't need no socks.
No socks required. Not when you're getting your picture taken in the winner's circle. You got to show everything off. $4.10. Miss Hot Stone's got to survive an objection. Gets the win.
I wish a horse could come by me and just like whisper in my ear and say I'm going to win so I can go to the window, but Miss Hot Stones crushes them. And there you see the pick 5 follow along for the cross country. Tis morning, it's going to start off a little bit better than that. I know you got favorite here with Time to Stroll and Miss Hot Stones, but you still have the Sexton Mile, and then you have race number 9 here from Belmont.
Tis morning, of course. That was Eddie Davis's first career victory, son of Robbie Davis, who, of course, our partner here, used to ride with quite a bit in New York.
Oh, yeah. Rode with Robbie all over the place, actually. Came out to California for quite a while, about 3 or 4 years. And somebody tweeted a picture the other day of an autograph in a program, and it had the standings from 1990. I was leading. McCarron was second. Pincay was third. Robbie was fourth in the standings. And it was pretty cool to look at it. Brought back some memories.
That's awesome stuff.
7th at Oaklawn. We have a state-bred $12,000 maiden claiming race coming up in here. And Riri French Fry.
What?
Riri French Fry, the 9.
I love the nose.
Is the 7-5 favorite.
Sometimes when you look at names, don't you want to know the origin of how it happened? But Riri has some speed here. Like, let's go to the front end, right? Look at 1-1-1, gets out of the gate like a rocket and just hasn't really stuck. But now he gets Santana, and Al Cates has won a race on the card, and that's Nancy's pick. Now Jonathan's going to go with the 3 Last Heart for John Ortiz with Ramon Vasquez in the irons off an even effort last time out.
What do you think? Tempted to play the speed here again, even though this horse has had plenty of opportunities, the favorite?
The 9? Oof. Those are the kind of horses I try to stay away from.
I'm going to go with the old blinkers on, the 7 horse. He's Luck. Laid mid-pack, ran second last time out for this price. 5th start of the meet. Hit the board his last 2 races, so kind of like him at 4-1.
And by the way, the entry in here, 20-1 morning line, down to 6-1 right now. You have the first-time starter on the rail, kind of stormy. Has a couple intriguing works, and then you have the 1A who was the outside post, who just ran 3rd at this level, now gets Lasix.
Yeah, they were 20-1 on the morning line, but that was too good to be true. How about the 11, Call Me Daddy? Finally broke a little bit.
Derby, Call Me Derby.
Oh, excuse me, Call Me Derby. Has improved with blinkers. Needs to get out of the gate. Has some gate issues. But if this horse breaks, I think he's got a big shot today.
Let's send it out to Vic Stauffer. 7th from Oaklawn. Coming up on America's Day at the Races.
They're at the post. They're off. Last heart broke well, so did Major Biscuit. Storms a Suspect and Rai French Fry are close up. He's Luck and Call Me Derby are next. Then Slightly Crafty, Blue Blaze, and Gotta Be Crafty. Next it's Grandstand, and the trailer is Delta Reward. Storms a Suspect, Rai French Fry, and Last Heart past the half-mile pole. They're together in a length in front of Blue Blaze, He's Luck, and Call Me Derby. The top 6 separated by 2.5 lengths. Then it's 4 back 2. Slightly Crafty and Gotta Be Scrappy. Major Biscuit has 9 lengths to make up. Still at the back of the pack are Delta Reward and Grandstand as they run around the far turn, and Rai French Fry is traveling nicely. Rai French Fry, a half length in front of Last Heart, who's trying to come right back at him, and does. Last Heart at the rail, Rai French Fry outside. It is 2 back to Call Me Derby. Then comes He's Luck, Rai French Fry. Now a half length in front of Last Heart, who battles on bravely and comes back at him again. Rai French Fry. Last Heart gonna make this favorite work right to the wire. Last Heart re-rallies. Rai French Fry. Last Heart gets through and wins. Last Heart beat Rai French Fry. He's Luck 3rd. Call Me Derby 4th.
Wow, Rai French Fry just cannot get there. Last Heart battles back, gets the win. Career start number 3 here.
It looked like Rai French Fry was home and free at the 16th pole, and then when Last Heart started to make the move back, looked like Rai French Fry might be a little bit camera shy. He just flat pulled up. Didn't look like he got tired. He was gliding coming into the stretch, and it surprised me. Nice ride from Ramon Vasquez.
Yeah, Santana trying to get every extra little drop out of him, too.
Yeah, you could see when Ramon went left-handed, he responded. Then when he went right-handed, he took off again. And I always wondered that, Gary, when you're going left, you're going left, and you're not impeding the horse's momentum. Do you keep going left, and then if you're not getting anything out of him, Ramon went right-handed there?
Yeah, that's what you do. I mean, if something's not working, if it stops working, you change it up. Right. And that's exactly, just trying to get the horse's attention in a different way. If it's not working, change it up.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. If you look, he hit her right-handed, and poof, horse took off.
We'll have those prices along in a moment. Grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile coming up next at Lone Star Park. Our feature event, Grade 3, 2-turn mile, title ready. Not favored right now for Steve Asmussen, who won it last year with B Jersey. Right now it's King Abner for Phil D'Amato, coming in from Southern California, who's the 2-to-1 top choice on the board and brings some pace to the race here. Shipping in from Santa Anita. We'll have much more on this one ahead, and check in with Jonathan Kinchin as well for his selections and analysis of this Grade 3 event from Lone Star Park when we come back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 and MSG+.
There's one thing that everybody wants in our game is they want speed. Daredevil has the speed. Did you know that he ran a 107 Beyer when he won the Champagne Stakes, the Grade 1? That's faster than Uncle Mo, Scat Daddy, and Union Rags.
As a 2-year-old, he ran a 96 Beyer when he broke his maiden, a 107 Beyer in the Champagne, beating a nice horse in Upstart. He is by more than ready, another feather in his cap. I can't wait to see these horses run it too.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races, and as always, we are brought to you by Claiborne Farm, doing the usual unusually well, and gotta love me some Claiborne Stallions, including Warfront and Run Happy, as we are moments, well, make that 14 minutes away from our feature race. It is the license fee. This one going 6 furlongs, purse of $125,000 for the fillies and mares on the turf. And we'll begin with 2 horses that should be short prices that are coming in off of similar types of layoffs, 4 and 5 months respectively. With number 4, Mrs. Ramona G. She really turned into a very good turf sprinter around these parts. And then they stretched her out down at Gulfstream Park, which I can't blame them because she doesn't seem quite fast enough for the 5 furlong sprints down there. And look, they were successful in winning one going a mile. Now she's back to 6 furlongs here at Belmont, and for me, it just makes sense. Physically, she looks great. She's a classy actor. She's well-muscled. She has those really rounded out hindquarters to her. The only problem is those front bandages do go on. She's worn them before, only once before, and we'll see how she handles that, if that has any bearing on how she runs here today. Moving on to number 5, that's Broadway Run. And her turf sprints are good. They make her very competitive here, in my opinion. Maybe besides Fire Key, who's just run really fast in most of her turf races. But Broadway Run was a horse that I liked a lot last year. I thought she put together a very good campaign. She may have gotten lucky in some spots as well. But John Terranova, he does great work. And boy, I mean, she looks as though she just ran last month, let alone back in December. She looks very fit to me. She has calmed down a bit now that she's a year older, just mental maturity. That's what you like to see with these horses. And I think both of these fillies getting back to their 6 furlong turf sprints is an ideal situation. As we'll also take a look at the European horse. That's number 3, Albertville, the German bred. And usually I'm a little bit leery of these German horses, but this filly did not disgrace herself when shipping over to Chantilly last October and only beaten a neck there. I don't know how she classes up necessarily, but I like the fact that they stick with the turf sprint. She looks like a turf sprinter. She's smaller, she's built downhill. She comes in here extremely fit for Christophe Clement, and he and Eric Concel will be looking to recapture some of the magic that they had yesterday in the elusive quality when they won with Therapist here again with Albertville. Greg?
Yeah, these are the hot connections. So they won that feature yesterday. Concel thought might get blocked a little bit and wound up getting through with Therapist. As we go back to Lone Star, and here's our post parade for the Grade 3 Steve Sexton Mile. We start off with Title Ready, Steve Asmussen.
Yeah, these are powerful connections here. Richard Aramia in the irons, the son of More Than Ready, going to try his first start ever at Lone Star.
G's Turn the 2, a 51-1 long shot, comes in from Delta Downs.
Yeah, and the last time he got on this racetrack, he won a nice little allowance non-winners of 3, so he does got a W over Lone Star.
Fat Man sent out by Joe Sharp.
Sometimes you just got to take the blinkers off the Fat Man, and that's what's helped this colt, or gelding, excuse me.
4 horse is King Abner, comes in from Southern California for Phil DiMato.
Yeah, Calbred for Little Red Feather and the Racing Summit. This is a horse that's really in sharp form, turf, dirt, it really doesn't matter.
Analyze this jet, turf to dirt.
This horse will bring some speed to the party, but needs to really raise his game. 72-1.
Airstrike, this 6. Joe Talamo, another Phil Diamato runner.
They're betting this one a little bit more. They put the blinkers on last time, a little bit more interested early and ran even, so maybe he'll run better today. Second time blinkers.
Here's the other Steve Asmussen horse, the son of Uncle Mo, Forever Mo, long shot.
He won the Zia Championship, a little bit different than today's field.
Minister of Soul, 20-1 with 6-1 morning line.
This one from my old hood and Gary's brother's hood in Turf Paradise. He wants to run some fast times
at Turf Paradise. So I wouldn't dismiss this 8 in here.
Mosito Rojo's won 4 of his last 7 starts. He's a win machine, 13-time winner.
You're right. Sharp horse. You're right. 13 for 21 for Shane Wilson, and 5 for 7 over this distance.
And Shotgun Cowboy, his trainer, C.R. Trout, said he doesn't even like it off track. He ran very good over off tracks the last 3 starts anyway.
He was 3rd in this race last year behind B Jersey, so he did not disgrace himself, and he's got $1.3 million in the bank.
Big price on a horse who may be a contender there on the outside. He has a little bit of pace as well that he can bring. He should be part of the mix early on in this race. But 9-5 favorite down inside. That is title ready for Steve Asmussen. The son of More Than Ready trying Lone Star for the first time.
Yeah, and you know, Steve's horses are just going to get bet. And when you look at title ready, he's sort of a lunch pail type of horse. He brings a good race every time.
Every time. I'll tell you that I think the race setup in here with all of the speed that's loaded out here with Mosito Rojo and Mosito Rojo and a couple down inside. They're going to be flying here. It's going to be a fast pace. I think it's going to set up Minister of Soul. He's super fast. I mean, he's got 21 speed. He showed last time sitting just off the speed at Santa Anita, and I think it's going to set up for a horse just off the pace like Airstrike. He needs pace up in front of him, and he's going to get pace up in front of him. King Abner, he won't be far away.
There's King Abner.
We watched a clip earlier on today of his last race from the 5/16s, and I felt like Tyler moved a little bit earlier in the Tis Now Stakes out at Santa Anita. Pretty good horse beating. Edwards going left, and Tyler went after him early, made the lead. Edwards going left, came back on. He kind of pulled up when he made the lead. So the added pace, I think, is going to work in King Abner's favor to where he can sit just off of the pace and make his move late, not make it as early as he did in his last race.
We do have a horse in here, by the way, as we look at Mosito Rojo, and yeah, he's got some pace he's going to bring here. He's won 4 of his last 7, as we mentioned. He's 7-1 on the board. You also have a horse next door outside who's won a grade 3 on this racetrack, who's a price, and Shotgun Cowboy the 10.
Well, Shotgun Cowboy's got that back class. He's 7 now, and you got horses like Mosito Rojo that are up-and-comers at 5. The thing you like about Mosito Rojo, he's 11 for 14 over a fast track. He's 1 for 2 over a wet. He's 1 over turf. It doesn't matter. You can put him over gravel, concrete, sand. He's going to run his race. And Shotgun Cowboy, if he can reach back to some old form, 15-1 does not look bad, right?
There you got a quick look at the 7-year-old now out there, and yeah, he has just been unfortunate to catch each of the last 3 starts off tracks, which is really not his game at all.
Right, and every time it looks like he's tailing off a little bit, boom, he jumps up and runs a great race and gets the money. He's earned over $1 million for his owner, trainer, and breeder, C.R. Trout. So he's been good to him. He owes him nothing. That's his favorite horse that he's ever bred, and he's just a cool horse.
And the question with this one here, and this is Minister of Soul. Paul talked about coming from Gary's brother's hood at Turf Paradise, and where you grew up. Can he handle the mile?
Well, that's the thing, but Gary will test. Listen, when Turf Paradise can get very fast. It's not as fast as it used to be, but this horse clicked 108 and change, 102 and change for 5.5 front. That's smoking. 870 yards and 46. I mean, I understand these are, 6 furlongs, 6.5 furlongs. But he's fast, Gary.
He's super fast. When he won the Phoenix Gold Cup, he beat another really good sprinter, a fast horse, super fast out of the gate, Jägermeister. And they went 21-2, 43, 55, 108 and 2, and they hadn't been running that fast. That was a legit time that day. They fired the 108 and 2, and I don't know if he's. When the red light's gonna turn on, the oil light's gonna start flashing. Maybe it won't, but they're taking a shot today.
Well, you think some of the other speeds in here just say, we're not gonna worry about him. We'll let him do his thing.
I don't think they can worry about him. If they try and go with him, they're gonna fry themselves. And it's the best thing they could do is hope that he clears by 3 or 4 going into the first turn, and your horse takes his mind off of it and just have the attitude, okay, I'm gonna forget about him. He's gonna stop. I'm on the lead anyway. He's the airplane that's pulling the glider, and I'm going to be the glider.
The crazy part is if you look at Minister of Soul's form, 21-2, 21-3, 21 flat going down the hill, which we all know is very fast, he's not getting clear leads. He's going to get a clear lead here. but now he's got to go the extra distance. But does he get the clear lead? Like Gary said, there are some other speed in here, but there's not 21 in change speed. So what does Lindy Wade do with them? Does he try to, try to back that speed up? I don't know. I think you let him roll, and hopefully he goes 22 and just keeps on going.
I think you leave there quiet on him. He's gonna be on the lead anyway, just because of his gate speed. At least he should be on paper, and just take a loose line. Hope that he starts breathing and relaxing on that loose line instead of pulling on him. You're not gonna do any good trying to fight him and slow him down and slow the fractions down. All you can do is hope you get him comfortable and he gets in a nice rhythm, takes a breather down the backside going into the far turn, and then can sneak away into the stretch. We've seen this track over the years where speed really carries. It's like a merry-go-round. Times aren't extremely fast, but they can carry their speed on this track.
Now, this race originated back in 1997, a little bit lively. Won it in back-to-back years. Bob Baffert, of course, won the first ever edition of this race, but we mentioned so much that B. Jersey won this race last year, going to win the Met Mile. More spirit for Bob Baffert, won it back in 2017. Some nice runners have been in here.
Yeah. Bob's shipped a ton down to Lone Star, and it's a lot like Santa Anita. It plays a little bit like it.
More spirit went on and won the Met Mile as well after winning it.
Crushed in the Met Mile.
Loading up, grade 3, Steve Sexton Mile, title ready from the inside post for Steve Asmussen, trying to win this race in back-to-back years. Can title ready deliver him another win? Jim Byers with the call, grade 3, Steve Sexton Mile from Lone Star.
And they're off. And an excellent start in the Steve Sexton Mile. And out from between horses, King Abner is sent hard early on. Minister of Soul in the pink is right there. G's Turn is forwardly placed. Analyze this jet, races in 4th. Shotgun Cowboy to the outside, races 5th. Title Ready on the inside. 4 lengths off the lead early on, races in 6th alongside Forever Mo. Mosito Rojo a bit wide and just beyond mid-pack as they turn onto the backstretch. Fat Man and Airstrike trail the field as they move on to the backstretch. Minister of Soul, that speedster, leads the way and is drawn just a bit clear from King Abner. G's Turn on the inside is next in 3rd. Then comes Shotgun Cowboy, who's stacked up on the outside. He is 4th by a head. To analyze this jet, Title Ready is down on the inside there. Title Ready is raced into 4th now, and there goes up on the outside Mosito Rojo, moving to a more contending position. He's about 4 wide into that far turn. And Airstrike is beginning to launch a bit. He's moved to mid-pack in a tight group. Fat Man is well back there with Forever Mo. It is a tightly bunched field as King Abner emerges with the lead here as they come to the quarter pole to Mosito Rojo. Airstrike to the outside right in contention. Shotgun Cowboy races 4th, Title Ready. 1 off the rail is about 3 lengths off the lead as they straighten away. King Abner throws down the first gauntlet. Mosito Rojo right there to the outside. Mosito Rojo on the inside, King Abner, then Airstrike, and Title Ready is racing in 4th as Mosito Rojo, Philemon Rodriguez draw clear with the Steve Sexton Mile. King Abner was 2nd. Finishing 3rd was Title Ready, and Airstrike was 4th.
Mosito Rojo, he has won 5 of his last 8 starts. Career win number 14.
Yeah, Minister of Soul, he was rank on the lead. Lindy Wade's saddle slipped forward a little bit, couldn't control him. Tyler Bayes on King Abner. The horse was aggressive early, tired late here, and Mosito Rojo set the perfect trip, nice and relaxed back there under Rodriguez, and let's see him celebrate a little bit when he hits the finish line here.
Yeah, this little horse, he lowered his head down and got to running, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Son of Mutata. Muktakdim, one of my favorite sires. He's one of the best first out sires, and you gotta love a horse that wins at Delta, runs a great race at Remington Park, Louisiana Downs, Evangeline Downs, and congratulations to Shane Wilson and Wayne T. Tavis as well, and Philemon Rodriguez, who gave that horse a great ride.
It's a money machine, that horse.
It is. 14 for 22. That is called an ATM, my friend.
Wow. Back to Belmont. Feature race here in Elmont, New York is coming up as you look at our analyst selections in here. And most of them, the exception of Maggie, going with Fire Key, the morning line favorite.
Yeah, we're all going with the cutback. You know, Jonathan said it earlier in the show, if you missed it, you really don't love to take horses cutting back from a mile to 6 furlongs. You'd rather be 6, 7 furlongs, but look for Fire Key late.
I think so. Fire Key's the one to beat in here, most definitely. Interested to see Albertville, filly that Maggie was talking about for Christophe Clement, just to see what we have for the future. Don't know if she's going to need a race or not. Christophe can get him ready off of a long layoff, as we saw yesterday.
That is the 3, Albertville, making her state's debut. And she has tackled some tough company overseas in Germany and most recently at Chantilly in France.
We had a horse yesterday that was first time in the U.S. And sometimes you don't really want them in a sprint race because they'll break bad. But that horse just got run down, ran well. So
he ran super.
Yeah, so this horse, the worry is usually the gate first time here, and they get out of the gate, usually they're going to run.
That was Emmaus, who
Yeah,
ran
Emmaus,
yesterday in our feature race. So there is Fire Key, the favorite right now. Both Gary and Paul like this one. 6-year-old mare, the one to beat, looking for her 8th career victory. Jose Ortiz on board for Jimmy Ryerson. Let's send it upstairs for the call. Larry Colmus with the license fee from Belmont Park.
And the last 2 runners set to move into line here, Fire Key and Fear No Evil. Will complete the line. Fire Key steps up. Fear No Evil comes forward and in. And they're all in line. They're off in the license fee, and it is Fire Key out for the lead with Mrs. Ramona G and Misericordia to the inside. After that, it's Fear No Evil, Broadway Run, and Albertville is the trailer as they head up the backstretch. It's Fire Key and Jose Ortiz up top. The leader by 3/4 of a length over Mrs. Ramona G, Broadway Run, and Fear No Evil. Misericordia is right behind them with 3.5 to make up, and Albertville is the trailer as Fire Key leads them along through the first quarter mile, moving into the far turn in 23.26 seconds. On top by a length and a half as Fear No Evil moves up alongside of Mrs. Ramona G, head and head. Second and third by another 2.5. Then Broadway Run, Misericordia to the inside, and Albertville is at the back of the pack in 3 wide. As they come toward the top of the stretch, Fire Key turning for home in front. Mrs. Ramona G now coming through on the inside of Fire Key as Fire Key goes to the rail. And after that comes Fear No Evil. On the far outside, Broadway Run, and then Albertville and Misericordia. Fire Key still there, trying to get another 16th. Broadway Run closing on the outside. Fear No Evil between those 2. These 3 coming down to the line. The license fee is going to be a photo finish. 3 noses on the wire. Broadway Run, Fire Key, and Fear No Evil. And Mrs. Ramona G was 4th.
Fire Key went to the front early on, and was she able to hang on late under Jose Ortiz?
I think she did. I didn't expect to see her on the lead. Paul didn't expect to see her on the lead. I thought it was a good thing. She must love this ground. If she did hang on, which I think she did, this will be the 2nd time that she's won on yielding ground. So she enjoys the cut in the turf.
Yeah, she does. And she finished home nicely. So did the 5 here, Broadway Run. Junior Alvarado looking for a hat trick. And I think he got the bobs of the bobs, the 5, but I don't know if he was physically in front of the other filly. The 6 might have just had her head down. It's very, very tight. Boom, at the wire.
Yeah,
the 5 does get the best of the bobs, but I just don't know if she's ever physically in front of Fire Key. But what a horse race we got there.
That was quite a finish. It is the 6. That was Fire Key, went off at 6-5. It was Broadway Run the 5, 5-2. Very tough to separate.
Wow, the 5 might have won that race.
Broadway Run, she very easily could have won it. It could have been a dead heat. It's that close.
We're getting a short angle view from off the set here, and when you get it, it is right on the wire. Wow, that's very close. The 6 still physically is in front, like I said, and I think Gary might be right. This could be either the 6 or a dead heat. Yep.
There we go.
Fire Key put up unofficially here. 6-5-7-4, as close as can be in the feature.
Wow.
Exciting finish. I couldn't believe that she was on the lead. I couldn't see that coming, and but she was very comfortable, and she wasn't rushed to the lead. She got to the lead on her own power. Jose did it, and James Ryerson, the trainer, I bet he was saying, what are we doing on the lead?
Right.
I always say, take what they give you for free. Just take it, and that's what he did. And Jose riding with a lot of confidence over the past couple of years. He's a great rider, young rider, and it's fun to watch he and his brother.
Back in the Steve Sexton Mile, how about this performance from Mosito Rojo? $12.40 for the win. Back-to-back victories now, and 14 wins from 22 career starts for trainer Shane Wilson.
Yeah, congratulations. The son of Mutata out of the Orientate mare Blushing Royale, Paul Van Doren, Mrs. Van Doren, Mr. Davis, everybody connected with this horse. Congratulations, 14 for 22 lifetime. Love to see horses like this win big races.
Philemon Rodriguez aboard for that winning ride. King Nabner second. You see title ready, completes that trifecta. Let's show you the photo from back here in the license fee. Wow, does that get close?
About 1/8 of an inch.
You know, the thing about it is we're focusing on the 5 and the 6, and the poor 7 lose the whole ball of wax by about a half a nose, half a neck.
Fear no evil, right in the mix, but not even close in the
Right,
end.
yeah.
So Fire Key wins for the 8th time in her career and 4th win in 8 tries here at Belmont. As Jose Ortiz explaining why he was on the front right there.
Yeah, right? That's what he's asking him. I'm watching off camera at another site. He is asking him, but now they're giving high fives.
Hey, it
to
all
each
worked
other,
out in
giving
the end,
some
right?
nuts.
And, only went 23-1 for that opening quarter.
Yeah, and sometimes you look back, okay, what was the difference for Fire Key? There's just 5 furlongs at Gulfstream's all they can sprint, and he's not a 5 furlong sprinter. Look at his record at this distance. He just likes the sweeping turns here at Belmont. He just doesn't love the mile going around 2 turns, and there you see the follow along. And still, with Dream Passage and Tis Morning, it does not matter what you got with Miss Hot Stones and Fire Key. You're still alive for a good score.
And remember, that 10th race taken off the turf, so 1 leg still to go. You can follow along, see how that plays out on the NyraBets app or at nyrabets.com. We are all done. We are back on, when are we back?
Thursday. You're
Thank
back
you.
on.
Thursday, we're back.
Do you want me-
1:30 to 6 on Fox Sports 2.
Do you want me to say your alarm?
MSG Plus, we're back at 4 Eastern time. I knew the times. I didn't know
What are you going to
day.
do without me?
That's why my partner's here for me. What a finish. Fire Key gets it done. Photo finish to close things out for us in the license fee, our feature at Belmont. We'll see you back on Thursday, of course, in the Steve Sexton Mile. Mosito Rojo, career win number 14 for Gary Stevens, Paul LaDuca, Andy Serling, who's long gone, and Maggie Wolfendale. I'm Greg Wolf. Hope you enjoyed our weekend coverage. We'll see you next week.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and NyraBets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With NyraBets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the NyraBets app or visit nyrabets.com. Sign up now for a $200 new member bonus with promo code LIVE at nyrabets.com.
Warfront has sired 8 champions and 10 millionaires. Recent Grade 1 winners include Homesman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy Flag, plus 2019 Kentucky Derby hopeful War of Will. He's also sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, and international super sire on all surfaces and all fronts. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Run Happies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.